A day I never thought would come. A day, especially while I'm working on this channel, never thought would come. And man, am I thrilled. I can't even think of the proper words to describe emotions for how excited I am that I am here, especially with you on camera, watching, reacting, discussing, talking about ReZero season 3, ReZero in general. This is my favorite series ever. I it's hard to describe, how much this really means to me, what it means to me. This is going to be this is like an intro portion. I'm gonna talk a lot. I just want to warn you. I'm going to talk a lot. So this might be even longer than the reaction. I don't know. Right now, I apologize, but I have a lot I want to just talk about when it comes to the series, expectations, things coming forward for what this season kind of entails, and just to get my general excitement overall across. And hopefully, I don't ramble too much, but it needs to be done. So yeah, this is easily my favorite series. I get basically everything I love about anime in general is all packed within this series, which I think is excellent. From just the cast of characters being so wide and having intriguing characters all around, from the writing and progression overall, and just the development and growth on them, to just the different scenarios, the different circumstances and stakes that we can kind of put at risk here, the ability for one to kind of find their own purpose and their own being and who they actually are and what they want to be, to the ability to write mysteries as well as they are written kind of within this, to keep tensions and everything so high, to slowly peel back layers and reveal things, to then go back on rewatches numerous times and be able to find things that were very relevant or connect and make tons of sense when you return and find them at a future different point. It's kind of absurd the amount of stuff that is jam-packed into this. Something as well that me and probably plenty others fell in love with completely on the first watch overall. So when you go back and you see some stuff again, second or third time, it's kind of like an incredible thing to really make a note of. Now, there's plenty of series that definitely do this, but this is one where literally every time I feel like I go back and whether I watch a single episode or I watch a bulk of them or the entire season or whatever I do, there's kind of a lot that I still unpack and I still gather, which leaves me very concerned, I would say, overall for getting into this, is I'm not the strongest, I guess, when it comes to really picking apart in finding these things. At least I don't believe I am, and really being able to like peel back the layers and theorize and kind of see the directions in which we're headed almost with a lot of stuff. And this is one of those series where I mean, my first watch on season 2, I gotta be honest, I was lost for the most part, although I was for the most part like losing my mind and crying half the time. But outside of that, I couldn't pick up all the things, and it took a little bit later. So that's why I'm very excited to be here and doing this, because I think this gives me a nice avenue to be able to sit down, actually talk, actually pick apart certain things, take my time a little bit on each of them, and then have you guys here as well to reinforce some things, give some comments, maybe steer me in a different direction if I'm going all too far off in one, or maybe just kind of let me know like, hey, keep an eye out on this, or hey, you're doing good here or there, whatever it is that we need to kind of do to keep me on track. I think is a really fun way for us to approach this. I definitely am a little nervous. I think about recording and having this series on camera, just because it was a similar situation recently with Sound Euphonium, the 3rd season coming out. That is probably my second favorite series ever, and it was difficult to make the decision to not record myself doing this, because I want to share that love so much and spread the series that I love so much to so many other people. But at the same time, I do get concerned that if I watch things on camera like this, it may ruin the experience to a certain extent, and something especially that I've kept to myself for as long as I kind of have, to then have to share that outwards with like other people and put on maybe a more energetic, a more expressive kind of version almost of myself when I typically would do when I'm on camera, makes it a little bit more difficult for me to, I guess, openly just like accept and be okay with that. And I don't want to ruin the thing that I absolutely love so much by then having to change the way that I view and experience it. So it gets me concerned with this series a little less, because there is so much that I think I'll benefit from being able to pick apart and like take my time with, like we're going to do here. But definitely some concerns on the moments that might be more impactful or emotional, me trying to be so let me figure out everything that's going on and yapping and laughing at certain things to like keep a more, I don't know, more energy within it, that those might not hit as much for me, which has been an experience I've kind of gone through multiple times now on this channel regarding plenty of other series and things. So there is a concern on there, but I don't know if that's the case, because I find myself tearing up when I just think about certain scenes and things from the show in general. So I don't know if that's actually gonna play a part in this. I mean, I might even just start, that might even start happening when I start like talking about the series and everything, and what certain like people and things mean to me. But for the most part, it's a very important piece of media, I think, to me, and just my person in general. There's just so much, so much that I love and I relate to and I pick apart, and I just there's so much. I don't even know. I'm not gonna be able to put everything into proper words in general. But there's just so many moments that I think highlight why I would like want to be in the position and doing this, what I'm doing, to be able to capture this moment kind of in time and share that love with a variety of other people who actually enjoy similar or the same kind of things. And this is one of those series that definitely was like the catalyst, I think, for that, for me as well. So I absolutely love it. I remember even back in the first season watching that, it was at like a point where I wasn't trying to, it was at a point where I didn't, so I still didn't watch anything like weekly, and I didn't want to tell my friends like the things that I was watching, and I didn't want to be like, you guys got to check this out, or this is pretty good, or oh, I'm watching this right now, until I was like kind of done with it. I don't know, well, I don't remember my reasoning for it, but I do remember that I had like a reason for why I was doing something along those lines, and I broke that streak completely when I got to, I don't remember the exact episode. It was probably episode 15 of season 1. I can't remember exactly, because it was either at 15 I texted them and I was like, this shit is like unfucking believable, you need to watch this, or it was at episode 8 and then I did it again at 15. But I think I might have that mixed up. I think I did it at 15 and then I did it again after episode 18, and I was like, you guys seriously need to fucking watch this shit. Because this is unbelievable, and I don't know, I fell in love absolutely with it, just from that moment. There was no going back, there was no turning back. It became basically my favorite shit at a certain point. Like, I remember where I was and what I was doing, like when I was watching, specifically episode 15, and I was in my room. I was laying in my bed watching it, I remember, on my TV, and I'm just sitting there and my mouth is just like hanging open, like what the fuck is happening for the entire second half of that episode. And I couldn't believe it. Like, truly something crazy. Like, the emotions I was going through and the feelings that I had and how like expressive I would actually be. Like, I don't act like that in any sort of way when I'm not on camera. Like, there's no point to, right? But like, I was throwing my hands up. I'm like, holy fuck, the entire time that it was happening. I could not believe the things that I was kind of witnessing and seeing. And I thought it was so special. And then once again, sitting there like crying while watching episode 18. And just seeing how far we've come overall, and seeing the beginning and the restart essentially that we were going to have going forward, and finding this newfound confidence in some sort of way, and understanding of not having to take possibly everything on to yourself, that Subaru went through was like so much and so important for me. Also, that's my goat. Like, I don't I don't be saying it and repping it enough, but that motherfucker is my goat. I love him so much. I'm still heartbroken that there's no like actual anime figures or anything for him. They don't make them. I don't get it. I just don't understand. ReZero got no male figures, even though they got such a great cast of different guys in it. But I got none. I would have a ton of them. That's literally my goat right there. So I'm a little destroyed that that's not the case. But yeah, it's so special. I have no idea how I want to like structure and continue to ramble. Like typically what I'll do is I'll give my experiences, my thoughts and feelings and stuff towards the series itself if I go into a season 2, which is typically something I try to avoid doing. We've done it a few times now, and I've regretted it a few times. A few other times I have not regretted it, but it makes it a little more difficult for me to narrow in and be like, I'm going to do sequels of things I haven't watched on the channel. This was one that was always, I think, on the cards to do, and I don't know if there's any others that I'm planning to do if they get another season. I truly think I might just start fresh. Actually, there is one. I was thinking about this a couple nights ago. I can't remember right now. Screw it. I'll look through my list. I got time. I got time today. It don't really matter. Oh, probably 86. 86, I think, is the only other one that, unless there's another I'm not thinking of right now, but I think that's the only other one that has a season out already that I watched and did not do on the channel, that if a new season ever were to come out, I would do here. I think these are the only two that I would make that exception for. I think going forward, I want to just strictly do things if I've already seen it, and we're not going to continue onwards with possible future seasons on here. I don't know. I don't like that formula too much, but also, it comes down to a lack of confidence and a lack of like feeling like I can add anything to what we're watching. Now, the thing is, I've rewatched ReZero a ton. Sometimes not in its entirety. Sometimes I've watched, like, say, reactions of others. Sometimes I have just skimmed through and watched certain episodes or certain scenes. Sometimes I have just done like different things like that. So maybe not, full screen, fully immersed. Maybe I've just put it on in the background. Like, I've seen things like that, but I've never actually. I wouldn't say that I've watched it like 20 times, like fully through like that. But I've watched a ton of it and multiple times because it is like my favorite thing. So of course I'm going to go out of my way for it. So I do feel like a level of confidence almost that I can go into this and not feel like I'm at a complete loss for where we left off, and maybe little details that were dropped and hints that were here and there and stuff. Now, some of that would be difficult with us getting into the season and having the candidates and everything kind of come back, people we haven't really talked to or been really surrounded by since really midway point of season 1. So it kind of makes things maybe a little bit more difficult if there's certain details and stuff about them that I'm supposed to remember from those points. Till now, of course, and I get that completely, but I don't think those are, because they weren't in it so much, that I could easily go back and recorrect the way that I was thinking, and I would openly and willingly do that because it's something that I would love to do just in general because I love the series so much. Anyways, so there's no real issue I think on my part when it ends up coming to that. I guess we'll just go through the series a little bit and we'll talk. I'll break it through in arcs, and we'll talk about each arc, I guess, and certain feelings and moments and stuff that came about in each of them. So arc 1 is, it's all right. Like, I don't love it. I think it's pretty good for what it is, and I think it sets things up really nicely between the relationship and everything between Amelia and Subaru, which I really love. I just overall think it does a good job at introducing a lot of that stuff, introducing the playfulness that they can almost have, bits and pieces about their personality, being able to introduce the mystery element, introducing return by death. Like, so many of the introductions of that, of different characters, of certain moments and stuff, I think were pretty well done. It's not something that I particularly go back to usually on rewatches, and I'll say the same thing here when we go, as we talk about arc 2. I usually, if I do go back and I start watching, I will start from Return to Capital, because that's just, I think, the most important part to get into, is especially when we start that arc. I'm not particularly like the most fond of the first 2 arcs. While I think arc 2 is really excellent for a lot of stuff and is the first like kind of real look we get as Subaru being able to essentially take the mask off that he's wearing, and feel like he's kind of stripped down to his core with having somebody like Amelia. It's the first time he's able to fully break down in front of somebody. It's the first time he killed himself. There's so many like really relevant, important, and like really emotional pieces that kind of came out of that arc, and it was the first time that we really went like longer length of building up, on like 6 or 7 or 8 episodes or something, as well as applying backstory with Rem and Ram, and building like a strong emotional attachment to each of them, specifically Rem. So like, I think arc 2 definitely like stood over and did a lot more interesting to me than the first arc, but it just didn't. It just basically built upon it, I think, in a really excellent way that made me really enjoy it, and had so many like different highlight moments that I will go back and I will watch, you know, the scene of Subaru breaking down and crying and using Amelia as his lap pillow for the first time in the 8th episode, right? I will go back and I will watch the backstory of Rem, you know, and her feelings and stuff towards what Subaru ended up doing towards the end of the 11th episode, right? I will go back and I will watch what ends up happening with the story that they kind of built up between the red and blue ogre and stuff. Like, there's certain highlight moments that I love and I really will want to go back to and definitely see, and I have multiple times, but those are an example of I'll go back and see certain scenes. But do I go back and watch every episode and the in-betweens and all the little like things that happen between them? No, they're kind of like skim moments for me, and I don't think they're bad at all, but for the most part they're not my favorite portions of the series, which is something that they've done so excellent as is I think we've continued to raise the bar as time's gone on, because then we move into the third arc, which is very expansive. The world itself feels so much larger. The cast of characters becomes so much larger. The problems in which we face overall become so much larger. There's so many different things that get introduced that make it so excellent. And I think really take it's funny because it's like when you get, so you have like say Shonen Jump mangas and stuff, right? And you have to nail what you're trying to do with setup right at the beginning, because you can't lose the reader's interest. That's the most important part. So you don't have the time, and it's something similar that we just that I've talked about a lot with our Serial Experiments Lane rewatch that we're kind of not rewatch, but first watch that we're doing right now, even though I'm pretty behind and getting around to that again. But the episodes, especially towards the beginning, don't feel like maybe they're presenting the most stuff, and they're very spaced out with the way that they are leaving like so much air and just like letting you kind of sit there and ponder what's occurring. But that's the luxury of them being able to flesh out and build up a story. It's the same exact thing actually that happened with Neon Genesis. That's a way better example. I don't know why I went with Lane first. The first half, essentially, while it's still good, it's nothing in comparison to what you get in the second half. And the first half overall is able to take its time to build up dynamics and stuff between characters and present so much like little different things that by the time you get to that second half, it just fucking explodes and everything feels so much different and everything feels so much wider and expanded on, and you really feel the impacts of what you spent so much time building up in those first couple arcs, which is what we get essentially in this series, in my opinion, which is why we have that luxury, because there's no, especially being a novel that we're writing here too, and doing it in the way that it's done, it's not maybe as required to immediately build up like the strongest fan base of people in the first like couple chapters or whatever. We had our strong hook, we have our thing to get people interested. This dude can come back from being, you know, dead, and all this other like external things that might have been brought up, the mysteries and all that stuff, so it gets people kind of intrigued into what's to come. But we can utilize that and really arc 2 to expand and showcase relationships and stuff that get built up between characters that then get applied to make the third arc so spectacular and make it what it is, and to make those moments hit so much harder, and to make you have to reevaluate the way that you feel in your relationship with Subaru and all the other characters. And I think it does such a strong, excellent job displaying that. And the arc 3 so excellent because of that. You, whether it's sitting there and watching, you know, something that's extremely painful to go through, of Subaru being really cringe with his statements and the things that he's doing while you're in the Capitol in front of all of the elders and everything, right? And then being able to not get over this and have his pride get in the way and wanting to get into a fight with Julius, or whether it's we venture further into him completely snapping on Amelia and basically the way that he values all the things that he was able to do for her, although she never really asked any of that stuff upon him, and he kind of placed that all on her, and he's placing his own ideals onto her as well, making him kind of completely explode into their argument, which was such a fantastic thing. And it's something that I think is so lacking in so many shows, is actual people having these fights and arguments and stuff. I don't know why we don't get more of it elsewhere, but it's so excellent. That's actually my favorite, that and the argument they have in season 2 two are some of my favorite, like two of my favorite moments within the actual series. It's like so strong because you really get to see the viewpoint that each person's coming through, and at the same time you want to understand and you want to expect that they're each trying to understand each other, where in reality maybe only one party is really trying to understand the other and the other one's just venting out their frustrations and everything to the other. And it's like, how can we overcome this? How can one talk the other one back down a little bit to get through to them? Do they need time to separate to end up coming back like we get in season one? There's so many different ways that you can play into that, and it also makes you reassess the way that you feel towards each of the characters, right? Subaru wants to flip up and be completely like a jackass in these situations. Well, now do you want to just hate him completely going into the future ones, or do you want to root for him to get back on his feet and correct the mistakes that he did and, you know, overdo and rewrite his wrongs and everything? And it's just, which side are you really wanting to take on that, which then make the emotions and everything that you end up getting to display as you go into episode 15 and exploring everything that occurs there, with Betelgeuse being the first like time he gets introduced too. So it's like really really cool. I think the evolution of all of this until we're able to like really knock some sense in him by the time we get back to the 18th episode, then expanding forward again into fighting the white whale and actually understanding a lot more of the characters and what they're after, such as Wilhelm and such as Krush and all these others, I think is really important and really excellent. I don't know, I just, the development of it is so fucking good to me. Like, it's so good, and we go from stage to stage and it all makes perfect sense how we get to each area. It all adds up and it's all realistic in some sort of sense too, man. Even by the time we reach the back end with our relationship and our development that we essentially get with, say, like somebody like Julius, and our ability to kind of bring him in is so fun, because now knowing he's going to be part of what we get here in this season makes me even more thrilled, because now we get to see how that relationship continues, and will they continue to be like little besties still, or were they going to have some weird shit going on, because Subaru still holds some weird sort of grudge when he definitely shouldn't anymore. Like where are they going to end up heading from that? Can he overcome that? And it's more challenges and growth that we can see on his own part, which I think makes me really excited for what we get, and being able to see a return of a lot of these characters. But it was so fun too, being able to see the teamwork and everything from the person he despised and the person who flipped his fucking life essentially like over here at the beginning of the arc all the way to the back end, and you're working and standing side by side with them, I think is so cool. But then to open up the second season with the fourth arc, which is my favorite thus far, which I think a lot of the fandom seems to believe that's also their favorite, between that and the sixth arc, which we'll talk about some of that stuff going forward a little bit after I go through this. But arc 4, especially in anime format, seems to be the favorite amongst most people. I mean, it has 25 episodes. You'd expect it to be. If it's going to be that long, you'd expect it to have a lot. But yeah, really awesome. Literally everything from it. I think the first half of that season, well, the second half is really excellent for growth purposes and character development overall. I think the first half and the setting up of the sanctuary, setting up of the witches, setting up of all the different mysteries, the reveal of Rosewell, the kid in the moments, and just different things that we get with her, having the moment with Subaru and his family and his parents, and all the different trials and stuff that came about with it. That first half, that first core and first part of the second season is so like unbelievable to me, and how quality I think it really is. Starting us off immediately from the leftovers of the third arc to then venture, you know, to take away a life of somebody, to act like, you know, it's too late, to realize that the checkpoints that we have, and really get it into your own head, into the viewer's head, that no, you're not entirely safe. Sometimes those people fall behind. Sometimes we restart and our checkpoints are a little bit past where you actually want it to be, and maybe you can't save everybody. Maybe they're not accounted for in the future that you're essentially trying to strive forward to. Like, there's so many cool things that just come along with that fact. And I think the coolest part of all of that is the fact that Rem got taken away to start off the first episode of the second season, but that wasn't important going throughout the rest of the season, right? We don't need to immediately bring that person back. Maybe they're in it for the long haul. Maybe we never get to them. Maybe like whatever happens, say, with her and what they plan to do with her character. But for the most part, we have to set a goal out. We're like, okay, Lai took her all the shit from her, right? He took her memories, took whatever. Her person in general is just gone. So we have to get back to that. But there's going to be plenty of obstacles and things along the way before you even get to having the opportunity to do so. So now you get presented, especially with us knowing that we're starting the third season and essentially going to a war here and having Lai be a part of this. What will occur here? Will we be able to encounter that in some sort of way with him being involved? But he wasn't involved at all throughout the second season. So I think that's just fun to be able to do. It shows that we can go away from a character, give them time without needing to strictly rely on or needing those other people in their life. And the whole story doesn't have to kind of revolve around that, because it just is mainly Subaru, right? So we don't have to worry necessarily about like all these other characters being as important until their moments kind of come about and until they're relevant again and needed again in the story. But for the time being, we can do these other stories without them, and I just think that that's really cool. But to start a season off like that's fucking absurd, and I absolutely love that. And then even as we push a little bit further, being able to finally get the kid in the reveal, learning about her, learning about the actual like physical presences of these witches that we're actually going to be able to encounter is insane to me. To then have to meet our parents and go through one of these trials and relive kind of through this, or for the first time really, I guess, confront this guilt and sadness that you essentially have over being able to never see these people again, being able to have never done anything for them, acting out and treating them and just being the way that you were, as opposed to having maybe a stronger picture of the life that you were living and the luxury that you kind of had and the freedom that you were kind of given due to the sacrifices and everything, of course, these people made along the way. And then now having to, for the first time in your own life, face hardship. It's nowhere in comparison to the hardship you initially kind of felt like you were going through in that previous life or anything. Is just such like strong moments, and many tears, of course, shed throughout that episode. But it's so cool. And it was something so wanted and desired, especially after the first season, knowing nothing of where this person came from or who exactly they were, while giving them the full and perfect opportunity to restart themselves fully from zero. But then after you give them a chance to almost be in the good graces of the people in the audience and stuff watching and feel like you can relate and connect to that person, then we will give you that stuff in the back. You can get rewarded for it and learn about this person that you've grown yourself to possibly care about up to that point. But until you kind of allow him to redeem himself in some sort of way, it's not needed. And his entire life is from the beginning without that. So I think that that's pretty excellent. We continue the mystery and everything. It goes forward. Every episode just kind of builds upon the last and gets better and better, and things just get so fucking cool. Until the first time we're able to openly speak to somebody and reveal ourselves and reveal the fact that we've been returning by death, till the fact that we're able to see a manifestation almost of Satella in our own real world, until we go back and later actually see her within the Tea Party itself, to a reveal that we get of Rosewall coming along the way, and learning that every single thing from the beginning, from the fact that we met Elsa at the beginning and she came to the Lou house and she came to steal the stuff from Amelia, from the fact that he wasn't relevant at all in the second arc, from the fact that or like present, like when it came to it, from the fact that he disappeared completely and he wasn't there at all through any of the trials and the issues that we kind of went through within the third season, like all that stuff, realizing his setup and his buildup of what he's been doing, making so much sense, coming all the way back from the beginning and having that revealed, so many episodes later. And I mean, in volume format, even having that be like 12 volumes through or whatever the fuck it was, is kind of absurd to me. And I think that stuff's so fucking cool. And we get so many other cool moments too that I'm just skimming over, but throughout the first core of that, with Subaru finding for the first time that he has a friend in somebody, never really viewing them or seeing them in that sort of way, and questioning his own feelings of, the people that he really enjoys and the people that he loves and their feelings towards him, and if they actually like him at all, or if he's just kind of being used by them in certain ways, and how he can more appreciate himself and those around him, as opposed to kind of relying on his return by death, and for the first time really questioning the uses of it and understanding that it isn't necessarily used something for him to fall back on, but instead, use him to kind of push things a little bit forward more. Just so sick. So awesome. Then to flip it completely and go straight through with a straight bet through the second season or second core of it, and believing that we can do everything in this one loop and not having to rely on dying and not having to rely on that to obtain info, but instead use our influence and our friendship and our communication overall with a bunch of people to get to the bottom of the things and play our cards right. Something that we've learned throughout many times. I mean, literally the negotiation we had with Anastasia at the beginning of the first season, or not beginning, but in that one episode in the first season, that being able to be utilized and knowing what these people are like feeling and the things that kind of people want, and utilizing that to our own advantage here, and kind of playing our cards correctly, as opposed to then trying to go back and figure out what they want and then reset and then retry it again in a different sort of way, and instead just being able to put all of that into action at once, and utilizing other people as well while they're also using you at the same time, I think is really, really excellent. Then, you know, so many great moments that we getting a reason to believe with Amelia, and having that whole argument in feud, which I think was fantastic. And I love to then learning about Garth and his feelings towards his mom and his relationship with being within the sanctuary and towards his sister and everything else that's happening. I think is so good and develops him and allowing us to understand him as a person a little bit more and give a little bit more reasoning for why he was acting out for so many episodes up to the point that he was, then adventuring a little bit more forward into the point that we get to see a return of a character from the first season when we end up introducing Betelgeuse again for being a part of Amelia's backstory that she's completely forgot, with her memories frozen solid until the contract breaking between her and Puck, right? And then being able to learn a little bit about Mother Fortuna and her and how her whole life kind of came about until we end up finding that Regulus showed up at one point, and then Pandora was there too. There's like so many fucking insane different things that we can do to introduce characters and then bring them back in certain lights and have them be relevant to the story and make it make sense. And then you start applying and realizing the reasons why, you know, somebody like Betelgeuse the whole time is talking about love and the way that he's feeling, and all that stuff is so important when you go back to and realize, you know, all the dialogue and stuff that he says in the first season having such relation and relevance to all of that going forward, I think is so fucking cool. And it's just like, it's so well done, especially for a story and for a writer who, to my knowledge, doesn't have any of this pre-written and goes chapter by chapter. So for him to be able to be so on the ball and, you know, remember and write things that like translate extremely well, or connect extremely well from, you know, one point that he did 7 years ago to like whenever he does it again, is kind of absurd to me. And I think that's so fucking sick. Then being able to conquer officially with Amelia's trial, being able to see what else is to come afterwards with us going back to the mansion, with her then having a variety of other trials, a bunch of fights, and a whole bunch of cool things that go down in that back half of the season. The backstory with Rosewall and Betty, and learning about, you know, them and Echidna and their relations and everybody together too, is a pretty cool stuff. And it's fun how all of these people are just related in some sort of way, until we get some like pretty hype moments overall and some cool things that happen that I'm not going to go, I guess, as much into detail or anything with towards the back end of the season, but that's pretty sick, to the point that we're able to take out all the rabbits, and then have 2 out of the 3 beasts kind of complete. And then it brings us to where we end up finding ourselves going into today, essentially with an alliance officially formed, with everybody involved being a part of this together, right? With having our group of characters now together, working together, Betty being on our side. Assumption is Rosewall at least works with us in some sort of manner. We have, you know, Amelia, of course, like everybody, the whole team with Otto, Garth, you know, everybody's just involved here, which I think is a really sick thing. It's a strong buildup towards us having a faction that comes together. And then what do you do when that faction comes together? Boom, we go to fucking war, baby. We are going to war. So I'm so excited. So pushing past all that, going into the 3rd season, and overall hopes, expectations, feelings, thoughts, understandings, and stuff. Before we, I guess, get into that, I should talk about. I am aware of some stuff. I'm involved, like, in some sort of way with like the fandom in some sort of way, right? Like I've heard things or read things or had things spoiled like at certain points. So this isn't like every single thing that's going to happen is going to be completely, like, I don't know about. For this arc specifically, I feel like I know a little bit like I know some battles and things that we're gonna get. I've watched all the trailers. One of the trailers has like a relatively big spoiler, I think, revolving Garf that ends up coming up. So I'm a little, unhappy about that, I guess. But we'll cross that road whenever it shows up. But yeah, I feel like I know some things. I don't know all like specifics. I don't know how things unfold. I don't know like a bunch, but I know like a couple different things, and I'll talk about them, of course, when we get to them, like in the relevance and everything that they have. But yeah, I know a couple things, so that is a little unfortunate, and I wish that I didn't. But I don't think I know enough that would overall ruin the experience. And out of like the couple things I know, most of them were things that if you told me they were going to happen, I'd expect them to happen. So it kind of works itself out. So I'm not too stressed over that. But I will keep my discussions and everything. I'll kind of tiptoe around the things that I'm saying to not outwardly state them in any sort of way for anybody else who is anime only, so we're all on good pages. I am anime only. I don't know why I've never stated that, but I am. I have not read any of the novels. I have seen volume covers of the novels, so like if any like character or thing that's going to be on like the cover who might be relevant within like a certain arc and stuff, I've seen those. So just so people are aware, but I don't know enough about any of that. But anyways, war, we're going to war. So this season, it seems as though we are setting ourselves up from the last one, like I said, where we have brought everyone together, and now we have to put ourselves in a position where what do you do when you have that power? Well, now you gotta use it in some sort of way. So my assumption for what's kind of going to go down here, and expectations, and I guess even predictions in some sort of way of what's going to occur, is this being arc 5. We have 16 episodes here, splitting us down the middle of 8 and 8. My assumption is, and also the names of them are called I think like attack and counterattack or something. So my assumption for all of this would be we're gonna start this entire first core. It's like a fake core. It's not really real, but we'll count it as that. This first part, I guess, as we probably get pulled up on by 4 of the archbishops, which we end up getting to see within like the trailers and all that other stuff. And as they pull up on us, things kind of go south and they go really bad. And that's kind of all I really have in my mind. And then my assumption is what counterattack would be was things would go bad, and then we can come back and we like somehow get rallied behind probably Subaru, who is like newly found himself as somebody who can be vocal and become a leader and like lead all these people based off of what he did in the second core of season 2. It probably regroups everybody and they come back stronger, and then they go all out and we really go to like war, and things get really fun in that second core would kind of be my assumption. That's like as like unspecific as I think I can get, but I guess I'll ask some questions, some things like that are on the mind almost of like where do we go from here, or like what happens, or what I'm like kind of hoping for or whatever going forward here. And it would be like at the end we lose the mansion, 2 to the fire and all that stuff. Does that play any sort of relevance because we have no place essentially to go back to, or are we still just kind of like where are we living out of, how are we doing things, who are we associating with? I know we had the place that Roswell had like close connections with people and stuff that we were able to do like our little party and everything at the end of the last season, but are we kind of just chilling out there? Does that really matter? Because I'm pretty sure we're going to a specific place here, and we'll probably do that in the first episode. So if we're going to be here maybe for the entirety of the arc, is that really relevant like at all? But what happens with the mansion? Are they like having people kind of rebuild it? Are we going to move towards the living out of somewhere? Is there no downtime that's really going to be in between, or us ever to like really need to return back to that place at any sort of point? I don't know, but it's a wonder. Like when we go back to like the Roswell domain and all that stuff, like what happens, like where do we return to realistically when we end up getting to that point? What's the relation going to be with like Frederica kind of coming in here? Like, is she have any relevance? Is she going to be fighting alongside us? Is she going to be somebody in the background? I do have concerns and wonders with that. Roswell, what is his like, what are we doing with him now that he has been somebody who we've seen go against us and now is sealed to kind of have to not be able to go against us? But does that mean that he allies himself with us and he works with us and he's going to be fighting alongside us going forward? Or is he just somebody who's going to roughly stay around and just make sure that Amelia doesn't like die or anything, so that we can continue getting her, to the throne, but like what his overall plan here. We know he wants to reconnect with the teacher. He talked about in season 1 he wants to kill the fucking dragon. Like where is he working? Is he just lurking in the shadows doing his own thing, or is he going to be relevant in any sort of meaningful way kind of within this arc here? How do they plan to handle the archbishops, right? Like we see what they do with Betelgeuse in the first season, right? And we don't necessarily expand, give him backstory, do really anything. But in the second season, that becomes relevant. But is it relevant because it's just tied in with Amelia, or would we have gotten like something to learn about him anyways? Probably not. So do we plan to develop and give those that are going to be relevant within this season here any sort of backstory to make you maybe grow an attachment or feel or anything kind of towards them as a character or person? Or are we just going to make them like straight antagonists and just have fun with them, like pure evil, and there's no real reason or anything kind of behind it besides the position that they stand for and what they're trying to do? Like, how are we gonna handle them, I guess, going into that? Are we gonna maybe just handle 1 or 2 of them, or are we gonna handle every single one of them? Are they all gonna be working together, or they all have individual things that they're working towards? Do they have reasons to go after certain characters? Maybe they have history and stuff within certain families or certain groups of people, like certain camps that they're kind of going after, right? Do we have like what are we necessarily doing with them is going to be my big thing. Is, are we going to ever focus directly on them when, say, Subaru or any of our other characters aren't in frame to actually talk to them? Are they ever going to have moments where we just follow them instead? Maybe conversations between a couple of them when nobody else is involved? Like, those are things that are really intriguing to me, and I kind of hope that we get, but I don't know if there's any plans for us to kind of go into that at any moment here. With having somebody like Reinhard and having like Felt kind of come in, are we going to develop family relations and stuff a little bit more, or we end up having somebody like Wilhelm and stuff, and being able to see how his dynamic and everything might come along with having somebody like Reinhard, who he's related to in sorts of ways, right? Be able to like interact, but not actually having them on the same page because they're both a part of different camps here. How will Krush act now that the fact that we know she has no memories or anything? Like, has she been working in the meantime of the things that have occurred within the second season that have kind of given her back to like maybe her exact form, or she's still completely nerfed and she's completely out of it, but is she still capable of leading an army of people going forward into what we have here? Is she capable of fighting in any sort of way? What has she entirely lost? Like, what is left for her? Is she going to be completely different? Is she going to hold some of that and retain some of that same stuff? I don't know. And if so, like, does she have like this like inner thing that knows who did the things, like bad things to her and caused that, and she's going to specifically like target after like Lie or something and have like an issues with him in regards to, you know, what ended up happening and stuff about him before? Lots of things that I'm really curious on. I mean, we don't know like anything in regards to like Priscilla, I feel like, or Anastasia and like their camps. They're very like out of it. So like, are we going to get a lot of focus on them and learn a lot to maybe improve their candidacy a little bit more and legitimize that a lot more to, say, the viewer, to make them feel something? I know on Priscilla's end, I know we have Al, and I'm, to my understanding, Al's like has a lot more importance in the story. Like in the third arc, I believe they like cut out like a lot of stuff that was kind of focused around him. Is that stuff that'll find its way back into this, if it's actually that important, or is that stuff that won't? I actually was planning before we went into this to go out of my way and read that stuff and learn a lot more about him, but then I decided not to because I was like, maybe they'll do something about it, but maybe maybe he's not as important, right? But if those sort of things are, I would like to actually like learn about him. So maybe it'll have some sort of relevance, of course, within this arc due to the fact that all the other camps and stuff are kind of involved, but learning so much more about them. Priscilla being like the one who's really intriguing to me because I feel like we don't know like really anything about her. She just talks about how the world kind of operates in the ways that work best for her, but like that's really all we know. Where at least like somebody like Anastasia like has she has like this greed and everything that she's doing. She's always worried about like making money and these connections and all this other stuff. But I feel like Priscilla's like such an oddball where I don't know anything about her. And the same thing when it comes to like Felt, because she has Reinhard behind her. Like, what is her role really going to be here? Is she just like kind of fucking around and having the strongest like backing of people, but it doesn't like is she actively going to be working towards this kind of stuff? Because we know that she didn't want to be a part of anything. Now she's just trying to throw everything on its head. So what is her importance and relevance and stuff going to be here? I'm also going to be so thrilled for her to come back because she was so fun every time that she was on screen. So I'm very excited for that. Going forward as well, what is the role that we plan to play in regards to Rem? Are we going to target this out when we get attacked, and specifically have Subaru and have others go out of their way and target, say, After Live, because they know exactly what he's capable of, and we have to end up taking him out to probably get her back in some sort of way? So are we going to be able to do that, or are we just going to get cut off by somebody else? Is there no like real like let's focus up and find this person instead? Are we like, what's going on there? What's the dynamic between, say, like Betty going to be now? Betty is entirely different, right? We saw her in that last episode. She felt really different. She was sitting on fucking Subaru's lap for the most part too, like holding his hand all the time. Like, how clingy is she going to end up being towards Subaru going forward? How different is she going to act now that she has nothing to really follow and can make all these decisions and everything on her own will? Like, what exactly is going to change about her, if anything at all? And what we ended up growing to like love about her as a character? How relevant and important is she going to be used for being by Subaru's side, for his strength and everything? What happens if we find herself in a situation where he gets isolated and she's not around? Is he capable of fighting and doing these things? We haven't really seen him develop much outside of his witch factor of a sloth and being able to use his hand. So what are we going to get from him? Are we going to possibly get some evolution and some things about him, or are we going to rely entirely on her? Is he comfortable and accepting of the fact that he has to rely on other people still? How is he feeling now that he's moved forward and conquered and overcame so much and brought so many people together and is viewed as like a sort of leader or boss to these people, and trying to grow Amelia's camp and everything even stronger? There's so many cool things, and I'm so excited for all of this. Leaks are suggesting that the entirety of the season will be 38 episodes, 16 being dedicated to this, 22 being dedicated to the 6th arc. If that happens, sometimes it happens where we start these and I say that, and then they rebrand things as another season. So if they decide to rebrand arc 6 entirely as a new season, as like a season 4, I'm still expecting it to come out at some point, so I'm not too like worried about that. That's the one I'm excited for, because that's the one I've heard that everybody talks about being like the best, or like one of them. It's like the fan favorite for the most part. So I'm expecting a lot of that. Other things from this arc, I know I've heard it's like very actiony, which would make sense if we're going a fucking war. So I'd really expect that. But being like a large kind of difference almost from the mystery and like psychological stuff that we go through within the other arcs, I wonder how relevant or how like that's going to like play out and how we're going to end up writing this, because it feels very largely different from the stuff that came before. But yeah, I think once again, that's all I got to say. Sorry I yapped for about 50 minutes, so my bad on that one. But I just want to share my love. I love the series so much. It means so much to me. And I'm so thrilled and excited to get into this. We have an hour and a half episode still for me to get through, and I just spent an hour of that rambling about nonsense, and we still got a discussion. So I'm in it for the long haul tonight. It's gonna be a long day, but I'm very excited to get into and see what else we have going forward. I don't know if I expect too much this episode, or if I expect this all to be like kind of like set up towards what's to come, but we will likely end up figuring all of that out. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys are very excited to get into this journey alongside me. Please leave any comments about your excitement and all that stuff as well. If you like it all, the like and subscribe to mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for our discussion. Leave any comments about this episode or this series. Let's get going with ReZero Season 3, Episode 1. My king. My king is training. Nice. Big athletics, buddy. Nice. I'm also interested, I forgot to talk about it before, but quality of animation and stuff. being different director and like the time off and not being part of COVID and everything anymore. We do have shaded ears now though, so that is a plus. Thank you, Batty. Oh damn, so we skip time. Secret, right? You were pretty impressive, I will give you that. No, it looked impressive. It's just a boys thing. Spirit abuse. Hi, Petra. Big sister, close relation. Unexpected visitor. Huh. Yeah, a bit of both. Oh. I don't know about all that. Alright, cool. I wish he was though. He's like a big dad. It's all the little kids with him. Holding each of their hands. I love Ram so much. Damn, you guys are all gotten really close. You're not Julius. I think he Julius. Thank you, Amelia. Just to handle it more grace. Come on, buddy. Oh, we got that by the hair color. Joshua. Oh, okay. Julius and Joshua, Euculius. So he's his brother, probably? Okay, cool. You don't seem like the fighter type, though. Are you anything like him? You look like that bitch. Young, she's 400, buddy. Yeah, you have learned that. Good job. Spent her last year very wisely doing that. She's part of the team. Why don't you ask why everybody else is here? Mm-hmm. Thank you, Garf. Come on, you got this. You got just compliment him. Stop your blushing. Oh, mad weird. For no reason.
アナスタシア様が即位された暁には団長の座は確実です。今代の権勢であるラインハルト様でも兄様の騎士としてのあり方にはかなわない。まさしく兄様は
Isn't Reinhard literally fucking God? Like how? let's be real here for a second.
お兄さんのユリウスが好きなのね。
申し訳ありません。家族のこととなると
Well, we found your easy tell. If we ever want to extract info, we got you.
バームベームは寝かせるほどうまいってのも限度がある。
Right, exactly. Exactly.
ミミも大好き。おいしい。
Oh my god.
一緒に食う？じゃあ約束。
Gar's gonna make some friends here.
それでは我が主であるアナスタシア法神様からのお言葉をエミリア様にお伝えします。
Okay.
アナスタシア様はエミリア様を水門都市プリステラへご招待したいとお考えです。アナスタシア様のご好意でエミリア様の探し物を見つけたとのことですよ。
私の探し物？
The statues?
プリステラの商人がエミリア様ご所望の魔晶石を所有しているそうです。
魔晶石？
That feels like a setup.
大精霊様を呼び戻す触媒を探しておられるのですよね。
Okay, so very different things. We gonna eat.
ガーフィール。
Yeah.
かり気に入られたみたい
Good
です。
job, buddy.
別に嬉しかねえよ。
案外、まんざらでもないんじゃないですか？
そんなことあるわけねえだろ。
素直じゃないですね。
これが素直な気持ちだ。ぶっちゃけアナスタシアさんに借りを作るのは怖い。
That might be the last person I want to owe one to.
水上都市ってやつか。
Sounds sick.
俺の知識だとベネチアとかに近いのかな。
ベネチアは知らないけど、プリステラは水上都市じゃなくて水門都市。
That means it's gated by water.
そう。湖の中にある町で、
Gotcha.
雨が降ると町中水浸しになっちゃうの。
Damn.
町の周りを高い塀で覆って水の量を
We must break through the walls.
いくつも置いてるんだって。
いきなりイメージが水の都から水の監獄に変わっちゃうな。
I didn't think about it that way at all. I still thought it was sick.
ただよくしてくれただけかもって信じちゃうのはダメ？
残念だけど。
No, but yes. A little bit.
でも
I wonder where she's at with this.
パ
If,
クとは話したいことも
right.
聞きたいこともいっぱいあるの。
So we utilized help of Puck throughout the last season, but I don't recall what like the terms were or what actually happens now with Puck. So Puck just seems to be like gone entirely, but can't stick around even though there's no contract or anything. I don't know.
私としてはエミリア様の意思を尊重させていただきます。
Do what you gotta do. All right, Frederick is working here.
貴族を集めた会合で大変忙しい時期だとしてもね。
まったく旦那様は本当に
I didn't do anything wrong.
レデリカ。
当然ですわ。
正直エミリア様とスバル君だけを行かせるなら不安だけど、ガーフィールとオットー君が一緒なら大丈夫です。
Because Otto's so
オッ
strong.
トー君なら交渉で下手なドジ踏む心配もないし。
Oh, all right, all
最
right.
悪ガーフィールが何もかもぶち壊して逃げてこられる。
Valid, valid.
屋敷に残るのはラムということで構わないかな。
ええ、ロズワール様の
Oh, really?
話はまとまったようだ。それじゃあ4人のおもりはベアトリス、君に任せたよ。
He knows what's coming. Okay, well, that answers a bunch of questions. Roswell will not be a part of this. Ram will weirdly not be a part of this.
これでもちゃんと皆さんのことを考えてるつもりなんですよ。
なんかいよいよお前も完全に内政官だな。
何ですかその哀れむような目つき。
落ち着けって夫はね。大将もあんましからかいすぎるもんじゃねえよ。
Yes, he
前
is.
に1日10オットーまでって決めだったろうが。
一日10オット
I
ー
don't
って
even
それ
know.
何の単位なんですかね。
Hesitation, still permission of knocking, even though you know Rem's not in, or Rem won't answer. I'm assuming that's who's in here, right? Yeah.
お邪魔します。
The lighting felt like a Rem.
けど今日は話すことがいっぱいあるぞ。なんせ招かれざる客がとんでもない問題を持ち込んでくれたからな。
It's sad. Like somebody going into a grave and telling somebody everything about them, you know? What they've been up to and everything.
アナスタシア様に会う前に
This motherfucker's fast. What the
現在の
hell?
応戦の状況についてお話ししておきますね。当初応戦はクルシュカルステン公爵とアナスタシア方針が本命と対抗に見られていました。
Those two would also have been my top 2 picks, so this makes sense. But then Krush, like, got nerfed, so what happens now?
変わりつつあるのは事実です。
The streets are saying
エミリア
different.
様は有力だった二陣営と共に白芸と滞在司教を討伐したという功績が大きい。なった旦那さんの所領を受け継いだ後、情勢の不安に揺れる周辺の有力者を一気に味方につけました。
What the hell?
乗せれば乗せるだけ踊る当人の気質と美貌もあって太陽姫と慕われ日に日に勢いを増してい
Sun
ます。
Princess.
フェルト陣営も当初の強みは騎士である牽制ラインハルト版アストレアのみで
The
した。
kind of probably still is,
フェル
right?
ト様が目をつけたのは能力はあっても性格に難があったりすねに傷のある者たちでした。
The strong motherfuckers in the
積極的に
slums.
取り込み柔軟な発想と視点で領地の大改革を始めた。
It's the most diverse group of people you're gonna find, too.
転がり落ちた候補者はいません。ただ
Yeah.
状況との戦いで記憶をなくされたクルシュカルステン公爵だけは
They nerfed my girl. I can't believe it.
そんな中アナスタシア陣営だけは応戦が始まる前
Which is why it makes it even more sketch that she's inviting you to some shit like this.
そのアナスタシア陣営の正体挙句に借りを作りそうな状況僕がどのくらい言いがいたいか分かってくれました
Gotta be really careful here. Yeah, Otto has a has a big one ahead of him. So also the fact that she likely invites everybody to come here is really interesting. Because it would be way easier to single somebody out and get them indebted to you and set them up that sort of way. But if you're inviting everybody, it doesn't necessarily feel like that. So I'm a little weirded out on what her plans are here.
本当ですか嫌だな
おいおっと、なんだよズリー。なに俺のエミリアタンと盛り上がってんだ。メアゴちょっと立ち直ってろ。
Take over. I got some shit to answer. Bitch, straight. Ah, shit. That's beautiful. That doesn't look like a prison at all to me. That's fucking so cool. The beauty.
すごい
確かにこりゃ壮観だ。魔獣でも狙ってたのかよ。
謎なのよ。
Hmm.
記録には何のための罠だったかま
Secrets of a city.
しかしこれ本当に迷路みたいだな。
街の形は水路に合わせて作られてるから陸路はすごく入り組んじゃってるみたい。
都市の中は勇者よりも流線が主流なんですよ。
He looks sick. What are they saying, Otto?
俺宿っていうか。
It absolutely does. Why are there people who know the Japanese style?
そしたらうちもここを選んだ甲斐があるわ。
アナスタシアさん。
She's so cute.
ようこそプリステラへ。
I'm so thrilled to hopefully get way more of her. The boy! They made him pretty too. It's just so funny. His eyes. His lashes go crazy.
保険であっただろうか。夏木スバル殿。
何がスバル殿だ。
Come on, bro. Just accept it.
そう言われても、今のあなたには相応の立場がある。そのつもりで接したまでだが。
までだがじゃねえよ。気分が悪いし皮肉はやめろ。
なるほど。
Feels fake, kind of coming from you.
その心根には影響が薄いらしい。
Yeah.
皆さん休校を温めるのもいいとは思うんですが
I'm kind of nervous here. Can we get going?
僕は
これは大変失礼いたしました。まさかこの場に
Oh,
あ
Betty?
なた様のような行為の精霊
Are you aware through Joshua, or can you just, like, detect it?
俺と契約したロリ
The
ーじゃなくて
That's the lolly I'm working with.
ベティはスバルのパートナーだからこの場にいるのは当然かしら。
Yeah, we're
お
not.
前の連
You're
れている
good.
まだ名もない純精霊たちとは格も異界も可愛さも
I've noticed.
そ
それをしっかりとわきまえた上で美味しい紅茶とお菓子を所望するかしら。
Use it to your advantage. This might be fun for her too, finally getting out after so long. Guy, I'm sorry you made a new friend and you're stuck with the annoying little sister. Have to do everything with them now. Mimi is so fun. Yeah. Because he didn't get introduced and he thought it was him. Why is there a Japanese place in the middle of here? Explain. Explain, somebody. It's like my hometown. Her dad or something? Oh, definitely not. Mm-hmm. So this has been happening. This has been happening. Thank you, Joshua. I like how they pronounce the J's as a Y, a Yashua.
本人の詳細も大したもんやけど、この町やともっと別の名前で有名なお人なんよ。別の名前で？そう、歌姫に心を奪われた男。転じて歌姫狂い。
Songstress Maniac. Huh. Yeah, this is sick. Probably. I did talk about how we have things to control it. That would make sense, yeah. Listen, I'm with you, dude. I hate water so much. Oh. Yeah, I guess we don't really want to be coming back to this town. Thank you, Betty. Valid.
頼りにしてるぜ。んじゃ、エミリアタンが心細くて泣き出す前に合流だ。んで、ミューズショー。
Where the fuck do we go? No idea. Oh, she knows. All right.
ここさっき通らなかった？お前ひょっとして
Directionally challenged.
別に迷ったわけじゃないかしら。
Oh, but never be.
でも、もしスバルが不安なら念のため誰かに道を尋ねるのもいい
Too
よ。
prideful.
はいはい、かわいいかわいい。あ、でも誰もいねえ。
There's no one around until we find them. Well, there's music, so the songstress will be here. But it was a dude, right?
いや待て。なんだこれ。よくよく聞いたらひでえ歌詞だな、おい。
I was just thinking, I was like, bro, you might be talking about you.
やべえ、空気読めないことした。
治癒魔法はかけてあげないかしら。エミリアにでも頼むといいのよ。
でもお前エミリアタンに回復せらんだら不機嫌になるじゃん。あと終わり。歌を邪魔するつもりは。
ひらめきました。
え？
は？聞いてください。
That's all she is. Age differences in love. There's a difference between age differences and child.
える愛となり、やがて二人にこの通り、きっと二人にこう送り、未来は明るい恋物語。
What the fuck? No.
ちょっと待つかしら。なんでスバルは急に歌に混じって
What did you know what she was gonna say?
お前が当たり前みたいに受け入れてるのもおかしいかしら。リリアナと申します。以後お見知りおき。噛んだかしら。下手で盛大に噛みました。ひょっとしてこの娘。
なあ、ひょっとしてあんたが巷で有名な歌姫ってやつ
That would make sense.
その呼ばれ方はちょっとはずいのですが、はい、いたんですから、出すもん出してくださいよ。
That is true, but we're broke. We'll always have been, always will be.
それはそれ、これはこれです。お客さん、まさかただ聞きしよってんじゃないでしょうね。
分かったよ。いくら欲しいんだ。
それはお客さんの心の赴くまま。ありったけください。
無理やり赴かせんじゃねえ。
まあ、なんたる言い草。ひらめきました。聞いてください。荒波高波世間の波。
No. just fair. Just fair.
人生パヤパヤ。
しかしすげえなお前。言動だけでここまで俺をドン引きさせたのはペテルギウス以来かもしれねえ。
ほほう、誰かは存じませんが、
Sounds interesting.
ありますね、ペテルギウスさん。もしどこかで会う機会があれば、
I don't think you will.
一緒になったかもしれません。
魔女教滞在司教だぞ。
Oh, what? Maybe I don't want to run into it. The what? Why does he have that name? She looks at us as she says it. Well, at least his name's making the rounds, you know? Definitely a boost to our camp. She's so stupid. Oh. Is this the guy we're looking for?
中で商談中のエミリア様の従者だ。
ということは、その商談の便宜を図れば、妖術界夏木スバル様がお話を聞かせてくださったりするんですか？
だからその呼び方はやめろって。あと話ってなんだよ。
You seem to know everything.
伝え聞いてる噂がどのくらい事実なのか知りたい、聞きたい、歌いたいです。リタカさんってば私にぞっこんではちゃめちゃ甘い人なので、きっと私から言えば商談もボロボロガッタガタ。
I think we found our guy. We got his name.
いやそれ明らかにスムーズに進んだ擬音じゃねえだろ。
いいから心配ごみをお任せあれ。
おいちょっと待てって。
Why are you saying that?
奇遇だね。
奇遇も何もあんなにうるさくして。
Why are you touching my woman? Bro, relax. Here one day and we're blowing buildings up.
歌姫とベタベタするんですかね。
ベタベタしてたわけじゃねえよ。
じゃれ合ってるように見えたっけどな。
じゃれ合ってもねえ。
おかげでまとまりかけてた話がぶち壊しですよ。
スバルだって悪気があったわけじゃないの。
He didn't. Thank you for seeing that, Amelia. Thank you.
スバルはちゃんと反省して。
I know, you touched that little kid.
仕方ないんだから。
Why the fuck are you just walking around the city?
僕も不注意だった。一瞬見とれてしまったせいだね。
Does she remember?
今のところ僕が君たちに固執する理由は薄い。
For now.
があれば勝手に運命が僕らを巡り合わせるさ。
どうかんだ。それじゃ運命が導く明日の再会を。
I don't think you want that to happen.
どうしたの？エミリアタン？
今の人どこかで会ったよ。
You have. Ah, fuck. I wonder if memories and stuff directly through the trial and all that other stuff gets lost in some sort of way, or if she just truly can't recall for some reason. Although that was like a big part of her life, a big turning point for her. Ah, and we're all separating. Ah.
なんだ宿の方から誰かが怒ってやがる匂いがすんぜ。
Alright, there we go.
何度も言わせんな。舐めた口聞いてないでとっととご主人様を連れてこい。
あなたのような粗暴
That's the boy from the first episode.
だって呼べませんよ。お引き取りください。
はあチンじゃねえか。誰がチンぜ。
Dumb, dumb, and
俺に
dumber.
はラチンスって名前があんだよ。ラチンスやっぱチンじゃねえか。
知り合いなの？
Yeah, that's the boy. He stabbed me a few times.
俺の身ぐるみを剥がそうとしてきたんだ。
ベティの聞く限りだとクズとしか思えないかしら。
誰がクズだってめえ。とりあえず俺様に任せろ。
Yeah, I'll fuck him up. Oh.
戻ってこないと思ったら何を騒がしくしてるんだ。
So he's probably part of his camp. Garf, relax.
1年ぶりの再会でいろいろと話したいことはあるんだけど。
Can Felt be there? I want to talk to her too.
君の友人だろ。
Yeah, he's strong as fuck and you just stopped him without any effort.
君がエミリア様の盾か。
Hmm.
会えて嬉しいよ。
I ain't touching you.
気に触ったならすまない。以後気をつけるよ。
ラインハルト。
You can't comprehend the fact that somebody would be nice after you try attacking them.
白芸の話、後で詳しく聞かせてもらって構わないかい？僕にとってもあの魔獣は無関係ではないんだ。もういいぜ。
Family ties.
けどその前に、お前ラチンスと知り合いなのか？
He's from the slums.
彼は今フェルト様の下で働いていてね。
たまにはいい薬なのよ。自分より上がいると知っておくのは、ガーフ
Mm.
ィールにとってもいい機会かしら。
I think it's a good point of him too that it shows that. Oh, I mean, we'll have to learn how he handles it, I guess, if he tries to develop and get stronger.
失礼いたします。
Crush, Felix.
スバルキュン。
お久しぶりです。
フェリス、クルシさんも。ヴィルヘルムさん、お久しぶりです。おじい様。
Never thought I'd see you guys animated again. Alright, this checks off one of the things we talked about before. How's their relation?
クルシさんたちまで呼ばれてるのは驚きだった。
私たちも皆さんがお揃いとは思いません。
Yeah, why is everyone here?
嬉しい偶然ですね。ラインハルトとピル
Is
セル
Priscilla here?
家族だったなんて驚いちゃった。
I mean, they have the same name.
二人とも目を合わせないわね。
Something happened.
だからお話の通じん人らには
Oh, okay, never mind. She's not coming
お
though.
話が通じない？
では、プリシラ様には声をかけていらっしゃらないのですか？
あそこは完全に独自路線なのと、
Fair.
呼び出す口実が全然見つからんかったんよ。フェルトさんとはちょっと仲良くなってたしな。
Aw.
口実って。
You need an excuse to invite someone?
喜んでもらえるお土産を用意したいや。
だから滞在司教、暴食の件でお話を伺えると聞いたから。
Ooh. Potential to bring her back.
別に夏希くんに意地悪したわけとちゃうよ。ただこの話は夏希くんよりクルシュさんの方が高く買ってくれ。
Not true, but if you know something, he's gonna be pissed. Yeah.
けど理解はできる。
大人になったものだね。
They don't know. I mean, it's not.
ギリギリこらえてる俺を刺激するな。
そんな怖い顔せんでも夏希くんにだけ内緒にしたりせんよ。クリシュさんからの希望もあったしね。ほんまお人よしなんやから。
もちろん私の記憶のことですから、暴食との決着は私自身でつけたい。
Naturally.
ですが、スバル様にとってレムさんのことが悲願であることも分かっています。
She knows because we. Yeah. Okay, cool. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
なんだ、人揃いしてんじゃねえか。
I love you, Felt. I'm so happy.
意外と変わらねえもんだな。ま、そりゃ私も同じか。
フェルト様、ちゃんと外向きのお召し物をご用意したは。
Nah, I fucks with those. I fucks with those. Probably gave her something all frilly.
本当にあなたという方は。ああ、ほぐれるわ。大将。あ、どうした？悪いんだが、ちっとばかし外出して構わねえか。
You good? You seem serious.
ああ、フィール。心配しなくてもお前は強いよ。でも最強じゃねえ。それだけじゃ不十分なんだよ。
So this is what I was going to say earlier. It's a good thing to do this because he's clearly trying to work to get stronger. Because if we present this as something and then he's just pissed about it at all times, but he's not actually like taking steps to get stronger, it's a problem. But he's actively trying to, so that's good. Just go by him. You're okay. Even to her.
今のベティはいつものベティとは一味違っているのよ。
すげえ、浴衣まであんのか。ベアコプリティ、ベアコラブリー。
はしゃぎすぎよ、スバル。
Great delivery on that one. Oh, you're a neck guy.
なんだか鼻息が荒いみたいだけど、熱でもあるの？
He was throwing up earlier. He is.
無自覚な上から目線、ほんと説得力ね。
時にフェルト様、そのお召し物ですが、とてもよくお似合いですね。
うっぜ。
クリスさんとこが一番理想的な関係だよな。
そう言われてしまうと照れくさい。
I don't know if Fells feels the same way.
まあフェリちゃんもバリバリクリス様に
Yeah.
ありますけどね。
Chris just wasn't aware. Alright. Seems we all have impure reasons here.
心配しなくても冗談に決まってるじゃないですか。
This cruise is fun, but oh, fuck.
本当に育児なしね。私の姿がなぜ見えているのか、あなたには分かっているでしょ。あなたが私に殺されなかったのはほんの少し運が良かっただけ。あなたが私を殺せたのはただのだってあなたは弱いんだもの。ただの育児なしの弱虫なのに。
Haunts him.
私を殺した。
Hi, Mimi. Thank you. Raise the spirits. Not now, he's angry.
人情とか難しいこと言ってるとよしやりたくならん？もっと適当でいいと耳は思います。アホみたいに笑った方がガーフかっこいい。
That's true.
アホみたいってなんだ。
I hope we get a lot more of them. They have a really fun relationship. I'm so happy Mimi's like more of a relevant character right now.
いきなり最強にはなれっこねってこって。
That's true.
まだ登ってる真っ最中って。
この長い長い最強への坂をな。
なかなか分かってんじゃねえかよ。
Work on it together.
それが最強への道だ。
Letting the boat out on its own. Runaway boat. That's gonna hit the kids. He's afraid of the water, though. Well done, buddy. Well done.
こんなもんや。でもあえて名乗るなら、俺様はトラ。人呼んでゴージャスタイガー。
You look a little familiar, don't you, buddy? I wish the trailer didn't ruin what's probably coming later this episode, huh?
これはこうするのが正解。うまい。懐かしのお刺身。最高。あなた。
お
然だからかな。めちゃめちゃうまい。
Ready?
どうしたベアコ。
この緑の車はどこかしら。
Now you go.
ちゃん怒ってるかな。内緒で出てきたから。
ああ、姉貴がおっかねえってのは俺様に。
I know all about that one.
よし、俺様に任せとけ。
本当、ゴージャス隊が。フレド、お姉ちゃん何してんの。
Complete mirror of his relationship.
別にも悪気はねえんだ。ここは
Insists on the literal sense.
フレドはいたの。うちの子がお世話になったみたい。
She named him Fred.
ごめんなさい。
母さん。
That's fucking awful, dude. Like I'm.
元気と和風庭園が似合いすぎて。
Mhm.
月夜が入る人好きなんで。
そのような言葉、私ではなく女性にささやくべきでしょう。
There.
そんなしぶりにのろけ話の雰囲気ですね。聞きますかな。
Yeah.
ぜひに。
I bet you'd be happy to talk about your wife too.
かつての私は今以上に。
Oh, we know. Oh, we know.
それからは剣を握るたびに妻を思い出す。
それは今でも。
私と妻をつないでくれたのは今も昔も剣でした。剣を握る限り私は妻を思い続けるでしょう。
Your
奥
attachment.
さんは先代の剣聖だったんですよね。
Mm-hmm.
平治の妻は花をめでるのを好む普通の女性でした。歴史に名を残す英雄たちが常日頃から英雄であり続けたわけではありません。そしてそれはスバル殿も
You cool to relax and fail and chill.
以上に広がっている。
As I mean, you realize that today,
私は
dude.
確信しております。スバル殿は一人で成し得ないことを一人では成し得ない誰かを集めて成し遂げてしまう人物なのだと。
俺はちっぽけでどうしようもないろくでなしですよ。
ええ、ちっぽけでどうしようもないろくでなしのあなたが私は好きなの。自分の孫とこうして言葉を交わすことができずにいるのだろうかと。私には己の人生の中で決して言い訳のできない後悔が3つある。そのうちの一つが今の私と孫との間にある溝の原因です。どしがたいほど許しがたいほどに愚かでした。妻の敵討ちを理由に私はその後悔から目を背けてきた。
But now that that's
そして
going,
敵討ちを果たした今、本当なら歩み寄るべきだと分かってはいるのです。
but you can't bring yourself to do it.
勇気がない。
お恥ずかしい限りです。
Was it the loss of her?
ラインハルト、白芸の時のことを聞きたいって言ってましたよ。白芸のことが二人の気まずい仲に関係あるかは知りません。でもラインハルトはヴィルヘルムさんが10年以上。
And he might not understand all of it, and that's why he would like to know. Right? Maybe you should be the one who tells him.
あいつも期待してますよ。ヴィルヘルムさんが話してくれるの。
Hearing about how fucking cool it is that you dedicated everything you had to that.
スバル殿にはかないませんな。
もっと二日酔いか。
せっかくプレステラまで
I've been drinking all the time.
昨夜はいろんな人と会って顔つなぎを。
危ねえ。
そういえばガーフィールが見当たりませんね。
Yeah, he had a rough moment last night.
今ちょっとナイーブな。
And you don't even know. That sucks. And I don't know if he'd be able to tell you.
それでオットー君、今日はどんな予定なの？
リリアナを人質にして魔性石と交換するって作戦で行くんだっけ？
とりあえず夏木さんは居残りでお願いします。反論は受け付けません。
ラインハルトとは一緒じゃないのね。ガキじゃねえんだから。くっつか れてもうぜえだけだってな。それにこれは私も認めたくねえけど、あいつ私が呼んだら1秒で来るぞ。
They have the ability to teleport? What the fuck?
エミリア様、おはようございます。
You can't even say his name. Someone got like a tracker in here.
おはようさん。なんやお揃いで仲良しなんやね。
Looks so good on her.
今朝はますますお美しい。
I also think that like relationships like Fels and Reinhardt's are so hilarious to me.
リカードとミミたちとは一緒やなかった
Hey, Ricardo, where's he?
平太郎たちの代わりに大正門に手紙を届けに行ってほしいんよ。大事な手紙やからね。
それってまさか暴食の。頼んだぞヨシュア。
Please read the letter. Ah, what an evil businesswoman. She don't even understand how important this is.
今日の朝食はカララギの国民的な伝統料理。大好き焼きや。
お好み焼きだと。
Nice, Amelia.
ひっくり返せたの。自信作だわ。食べて。まあまあうまくできた。
Bro, why is he silent? Praise her. Praise her.
せっかくだからベティが焼いてあげたこの大好き焼き食べさせてあげてもいいのよ。
ベアトリスちゃん、いくらなんでもソースかけすぎ。エミリア様も生焼きはお腹壊しますから。
Felt.
ベルト様、次が焼けました。
She hasn't finished one of them.
その調子でガンガン焼けよ。
Ah. This is cute because it's like we don't get these moments ever with any of them. It's always just suffering and pain.
なんだこりゃ。この町のマイ
They got some high tech here.
都市庁舎にあるミーティアを使った放送なんよ。
ミーティアの放送。
From the top of the tower?
毎日放送があるのですか？それは何のために？
Inform you what's going
有事
on.
の際の備えと聞いています。この都市は構造上緊急時の避難経路が限られていますので。
なるほどね。
I guess we're gonna get one, but it says war is
その提
coming.
案者もミーティアの提供も桐高さんだそうです。
ああ、これ本人だ。
So he has some really good ideas, but at the same time doesn't. Alright. Oh, he did it so everybody could hear. It did some good at the end of the day, you know?
では歌います。聞いてください。元気連歌第2幕。
The what? No lyrics for this is a bit unfortunate. I would have loved to read it. Yeah, just make the environment fucking awkward, thank you.
ラインハルト。
As they sit next to each other.
そのだな。
はい。
Aww.
うまく焼けそうにない。コツがあれば教えてもらえないだろうか。
Well done, buddy. A little step.
はい、わかりました。おじい様。
Reference to you in that name too, as opposed to any other thing.
今さら都合が良すぎるんじゃねえか。親父殿。
現在私もラインハルトも特務により本来の役目を離れております。たとえ副団長といえど我々への命令権をお持ちではないはず。
Vice Captain.
冗談に決まってんだろうが熱くなんなよ。いくら俺がお飾りの副団長って言ってもそんぐらいの弾足はわきまえてら。
お飾りの副団長。
無駄飯ぐらいハインケルってのは俺のことさ。
無駄飯ぐらいも嫌われ者も開き直ってんじゃねえよ。
落ち着きたまえスバル。副団長の空気に飲まれてはいけない。
ハインケル。
一回呼べばわかりますよ。まだ耳が遠くなるような年じゃありません。ラインハルト、お前もそうだろ？お前も親父殿のおかげで肩の荷が下りただろう。なんせ、お前が死なせた先代様の敵討ちをしていただいたんだからな。
やめろ、ハイン
You
ケル。
what?
お前というやつはどこまで？
今さら綺麗事なんてやめてくれよ、親父殿。あんたにだけは俺を非難する資格はねえ。先代を殺したと最初にラインハルトをなじったのは他でもないあんたなんだからな。テレシア・バン・アストレアが許すかよ。
ハインケル・バン・アストレア。
バンをつけるな、ガキ。その件名はもらってねえ。ハインケル・アストレアだ。
それであなたは何をし
Yeah, just to cause a bunch of fucking problems.
私が聞きたいのは一つだけ。あなたは何をしにここに来たの？
Stand your fucking ground, Amelia. I fuck with that.
ちゃんと答えて。
Okay, so they have a complicated ass fucking family relation.
面白い話が聞けるんかって楽しみにしとったのに。
無粋な殿方にはお帰りいただきたいものですね。
お気は済みましたか、副団長。他に要件がないのであれば、この場は辞していただくのが。
Ah, Lord. Why is she here?
ないぞ、ボンコツ。
遅いじゃねえか。いつまでも来ねえから肝を冷やしたぜ、プリシラ城。
さえずるな。久しい顔ぶれよな。随分と慣れ合っていたと見えるが。
知らん。そいつを連れてきたのは
She's always after some bullshit, dude.
誰じゃ貴様は。
覚えてないのかよ。
姫さんよ。いくらなんでもそらひどくね。
What's up, Al? The guy who tried to kiss your foot, you know?
このボンコツを連れ出したのがわらわかどうかか。
I'm led to believe yes, yeah.
正しい。その通りよ。これはわらわが呼びつけこの場に連れ出した。
For what purpose?
強いて言えば
Just to fuck with us?
それが面白そうだと思ったからじゃ。
She's great, but at the same time terrible.
居合わせる無粋。そんな醜悪な演目を平然と回せるわけにはいくまい。故に台本を書き換えた見物であったろ。
プリシラー。
やめろ兄弟。ここで俺らがやり合っても益がねえ。
ふざけるな。だったら心はいくらでも傷つけていいっていうのかよ。
スバル。
There's people around you that care for you. Relax, buddy.
たかだか貧民街の小娘夫婦がに何事か意見すると。
人事ってわけにはいかねえかな。
I mean, that's right.
アストレア家の家督はラインハルトのもんじゃねえ。
Mm.
私らの生命線ってやつはそのおっさんが握ってやがんだからよ。
アストレア家の家督は俺が握ってる。俺はそれをラインハルトへ譲ったつもりも譲るつもりももうとうねえ。
フェルト様、僕は
ラインハルト、黙って堂々とした面してろ。
はい。
俺が指示するのは
これボンコツ。
ああ、なんだプリシラ城。今俺は大事な話を。
うるさい。
姫さん。
Just off of that?
たく勘弁してくれや。要件まで抜かれちゃ心臓。
The Yang sword.
シルト、そこなボンコツを運び出せ。解放してやるがいい。
はいであります。
Oh.
失礼するであります。ハインケル様。
What a fucking conversation, at least.
シュルトちゃんはいつでもけなげだね。
I love Al. He's so fun.
仮にそうだと言えば貴様はどうする？泣き寝入りして素直に引き下がるのか？
No. That's the last person who would do that.
私は誰に言われようが泣き寝入りだけは絶対しねえ。あのおっさんからこいつに片方譲らせてやる。
Let's fucking go, Belt.
いずれ来たるわらわの勝利は約束されている。ならば道筋には波乱と勇況を求める。わらわを沸かせよ。それが貴様ら早くの役割じゃ。
そのおごり泣いて後悔させてやるよ。
君が短慮な振る舞いを見せたから周りがかえって冷静になることができた。
Yeah.
君の軽率さが役に立つこともある。
お前、本当は俺のこと褒めるつもりとかねえだろ。
見ての通りだ。君に感謝を。私に代わり あの場で義憤をあらわにしてくれた君に感謝したい。
Julius is so fucking cool.
代わりに怒ってくれてありがとうってか。ふざけんな。なんで俺がお前の代わりに怒ったことになんだよ。俺が怒ったのは俺がムカついたからだ。お前もムカついてたんなら怒ればよかったじゃねえか。先生の父親だってことを傘に着てやがるんじゃねえだろうな。
Oh, he will.
それもなくはない。
Oh, he will.
だが最大の理由は副団長ではなくラインハルトにある。アストレア家と言うべきかもしれん。
ここに反抗する気になったら牽制一家が敵に回りかねないってか。そりゃつまり王国がラインハルトもウィルヘルムさんも信じてないってことじゃねえか。
15年前王族の一人が何者かに誘拐される事件。先代の牽制様を加えた白芸討伐はヴィルヘルム様が捜索のために王都を離れている間に行われたんだ。
事件のせいで奥さんの死に目に会えなかった。
Yep.
だからあの人が逆恨みしてるってか。あの人がそんな人じゃないってどうしてみんなわからねえんだよ。お行儀がいいばっかりの騎士らしさに別にこだわり続ける必要なんかねえだろ。鎧脱いで有利になってみるのも悪くない。あれぐらい融通利かした方がうまく回ることもあるかもしれないぜ。
有利か。なんとも懐かしい名前を引っ張り出してきたものだ。
That's fun too.
有利として見上げる空は、浴びる風はこんな気分だったか。
あ？
思えばあの時も空の色は普段と違って見えた。
わけわかんねえ。
No, he's making perfect sense to me. That makes perfect sense to me. And Super knows that all too well. The fact that he acts like he doesn't is insane.
あいつと仲良くってのがすごーく間違ってるけど、何の話だったと思う？
今度どこに遊びに行くとか？
I wish it was like that.
敵情視察ってなもんだよ。あとはちょっとした世間
We're gonna run into Regulus again here.
それって友達なんじゃないの？
まあ友達じゃないよ。
Why do I not hold Amelia's hand at the same time too? Priscilla's dancing? This bitch. Put on a performance in front of all. Yeah, it doesn't seem like you. Then why do you feel excited? Okay. I don't know if I believe that.
マジか。お前もリリアのベタ褒め勢かよ。
I don't know about that. I personally would not want to get too close.
お断りさせていただきます。血に縛られず、人に縛られず、それがなりわいであると生き方を決めております。
ゆえに、わらわの誘いには乗らぬと。
母も、その母も、そのまたさらに母も、
I have no plans to diverge from that.
残さず、歌のみを人の心に残して生きる一族。風を囲うことができないように、歌を遮ることは何者にもできません。
That's cute. I feel like she's just gonna beat the shit out of her though. Oh, never mind.
許せ、無粋はわらわの方であった。
いいえ、そんなことは私の方こそ申し訳ないですよ。
てっきり誘いを断ったリリアナを真っ二つにするもの。
That's what I thought was gonna happen.
この世のすべてはわらわのものよ。
な
らば、美しいもの、気高いもの、価値あるすべてを手元に置いて鑑賞する必要なぞない。この世のすべてがわらわの庭なれば、さえずる小鳥がどこで歌うかなど問題ではない。
Weird. Alright.
皆様も落ち着かれた頃合いで親睦を兼ねて私が一曲ご披露いたしましょうか。
Thank you, Liliana.
そして歌の後はご歓談。夏木様はその時間に向けておやつなんて準備されるのが良いと思いませんか？
No.
そして歌の後はご歓談。夏木様はその時間に向けておやつなんて準備される。
Oh, we heard you. We heard you.
何これ、入って言わないと進まないタイプの茶番
You
すんなって。
guys can be friends. Yeah.
そんな覚えねえよ。寄ってくんじゃねえ。
まあ聞いて。
Where are the others at? Let's all hang out.
すっげえんだよ。大
大体てめえはなくなれすげんだ。
ご歓談中の皆様、お急ぎの方々。
なんだ。
ごめん、お騒がせしております。
And so it begins.
こうして皆様の時間を拝借させてください。ありがとう、ごめんね。私は魔女教滞在司教フンド担当シリウス・ロマネ・コンティと申します。
Well.
冗談にしちゃお払えね
I wish it were. For your sake.
ここまで皆さんが静かになるまで35秒かかりました。でも静かになってくれてありがとう。ごめんね。そこのあなたとあなた、そしてそちらのお兄さんたち、ごめんね。そんなに怒らないで。皆さんの大切な時間をいただくことを私はとても申し訳ないと心から思っています。だからごめんね。ありがとう。
I thought you were gonna say, I apologize, but I must kill you all now.
お言葉に甘えて質問させてもらっていいか。
Please do. I must know.
何の用だか知らないが、俺は女の子を待たしてんだよ。それも4人。だからなるだけ早く用事を済まして会話。
Oh, sure. I got you.
それは大変ごめんね。あとごめんね。急がなきゃ。
いや、いいんだ。
You good, you good.
穏便に話を進めてくれた方がありがたいし。
気を使わせてごめんね。
I love her jumping for joy while doing this.
どうしてここへ現れたその理由を。
To wage war.
確かめたいことがあるって言ってたよな。何を確かめたいんだ。
They all think this is like a fun little act and thing that's going on, and she's about to say some insane shit, I bet. Uh-oh.
どうかお付き合いいただけないでしょうか。いいぞ。もちろんだ。本当ですか。
How they're just willingly accepting this psycho woman wrapped in bandages, like.
愛に満ち足りている。それを実感するたび、私は感謝をしたくなるんです。許し合うこと、譲り合うことができる。だから私はありがとう、ごめんなさいを重ねるんです。
Oh.
ほらこっちにおいで。あげたいけどおもらしまでしてしまって、みんなに知られて恥ずかしいです。そうだ、恥ずかしいぞ。
Why are they laughing at this? What?
最初はティーナちゃんかなと思ったんですが、あんまりルスベル君が一生懸命お願いしてくれたので。
Yeah, cause look what just fucking.
心を打たれてしまった。
He would love someone so much you'd go out of your way. I don't think he's gonna get that opportunity to. Also, like, why did Subaru not act when she said her name? Oh. Now it's starting to make sense. Brilliant. Ooh.
あなたの勇気をたたえます、ルスベル君。やっぱりあった。愛はあったのです。今この時、皆の心が一つになっているように。万歳だ。拍手を。
Oh, that's sick.
そして歌の後はご歓談。夏希様はその時間に向けておやつなんて準備されるのが良いと思いませんか？あれれ？
Does Is there a possibility that their souls essentially get taken over and absorbed into the person, and then she killed him and all of them die? That's a great title for it. Peak Zero returns with an absolute masterful episode for episode 1 here. I think it nailed everything that I think I would have desired out of it. It takes something that seemingly has a long buildup, which to my knowledge, this is the entirety of the first volume of this arc. So you take what happens when you have a long buildup of something that you have a lot of groundwork to kind of lay out. And it makes sense that they do have a lot to lay out because we're just setting up a lot of things that are going to occur. Lots of family stuff is very relevant here and important. I mean, you have the stuff with Garth and then finding his mom. You have the stuff with Reinhard and reworking that relationship, I guess, that he kind of has with his grandpa. And then all of a sudden his dad shows up, who it seems everybody in that family has some sort of issue and thing that they're kind of dealing with there. You have Julius and you have Joshua. So you have like brothers there. You have somebody coming in like Mimi, who's like a big like support almost for somebody like Garth, who you could almost look at as like a big brother figure. You have the ability of all the characters changing, specifically Garth, but a bunch of them, and even Betty changing and referring to people through names like brother or something, like, and putting that stuff in there. So it's a really interesting flip on a bunch of that stuff, and we have to set all of that up by having these dialogue moments, having these like slower moments where we just get to interact and really experience and see all of these characters kind of come together, which I think definitely allows more to be built up, more to be stretched out, and refers back to the thing I talked about in my long yap session at the beginning, where a lot of early shonens and stuff, like things like Shonen Jump or whatever, like mangas like that, have to really just like nail the beginning of their story and can't really like take too long on certain aspects of things and building up certain things, because then the readers get bored, and then if you don't get past a certain point, you get axed as a series, right? We have the luxury here of it not necessarily being like that, and trusting in the readers and everything of the novels to actually read through the entirety of the thing, to take interest in the stuff that's happening. So we can utilize that medium, and especially where we are now, in creating a longer episode here to stuff all that out. Because imagine if we split this into like 3 different episodes, it wouldn't be the most entertaining of things. You would have to wait till episode 3 to get really entertaining, but not a lot of people would be like thrilled to be watching after just episode 1, you know? Like, so this hits a lot better, and I think works extremely well by condensing all of it into one, and still giving you all those details and important things to really lay the groundwork for where we are like overall headed within this arc, which I think is really excellent, and gets me extremely excited for a bunch of things that have been presented, and a bunch of different dynamics and stuff that have been developed and changed up to this point, especially having over a year gap break between the two, like where the end of season 2 ended and where we are here now with arc 5, I think is really fucking cool. So I'm very excited to see how they continue onwards, because we get left at such a awesome fucking cliffhanger. There's so many good moments, and I'm not going to sit here and just talk about like it like this. So we're going to go through each of these moments and we're going to talk about it. So we'll get to the fun stuff a little bit later. I will say, I think overall, animation wise and everything, it looks really good so far. I mean, nothing like absurdly like amazing, but I don't know, and I can't compare it, say, to like season 1 or anything. It looks a lot better to me than I can remember season 1 to be at, but I don't really remember, because usually if I return to stuff, it's season 2, and season 2 looks really bad. So this definitely is a lot better to look at than that, but definitely fun here to start off, and definitely an improvement overall. Some character design changes and everything too. Julius was definitely noticeable. I'll point them out actually as we go through. It'll probably be a lot easier. Subaru, you can immediately tell off rip here, his is a little bit different from what we get, but I don't care. We got the shaded ears, and that's all we can really ask for, right? But he's on a little training course, which is fun, and he's trying to get a little stronger, a little more athletic, able to do everything that he can. We appreciate that. You know, he's learning to deal with what he can. He's not really focusing on magic or anything. Maybe something that we should have focused on. I can't remember. Correct me, please. His gate didn't break because it held up when he was able to use his witch factor. But so we spent a year actually doing this, so it's probably better that he's not training or doing anything with it. now that I think about it. So it definitely hasn't have had time to, because he has to wait and have it healed, right? Still, unless he definitely like utilized it and broke it and put himself in a position where he's not able to anymore, and I'm just misremembering. Let me know if that's the case, because I actually might be misremembering. I'll have to go back. It's the Garf episode of season 2, so 16, I think. So I'll go back and actually look at that, because I'm really curious if it got explained there or not, or if he said that. Petra still at the mansion. It's always great to see her, although she won't really be relevant in this arc. It's fun to see Mimi. I'm so happy. Mimi was so fun in the few episodes she was involved in, so I'm very excited to continuously have her here a little bit more. Move through in the mansion. Ram is as pleasant as ever. Unfortunate that she's not going to be with us either, because I was really looking forward to more of her, but that's okay, I guess. If this is more fighting based, she's not necessarily the person that we want or need for that. Joshua, nice to meet you, buddy. He's got a little bit of a problem with his brother. He loves him a little too much. It's kind of creepy, but at the same time, is what it is. But definitely some sort of dynamic there. Complete opposite, almost as if like Reinhardt's family entirely. And the way that each of them kind of present each other, him and Julius, is a little bit different. Interesting enough. Subaru is still struggling to get over his relationship with Julius, and the way that things have kind of been is funny to me. At a certain point, you just got to accept it. Julius seems like a really good dude, and I really enjoy him and the little conversations and everything they have. At a certain point, just give up and just accept that you guys love each other and you're going to be best of friends forever. Okay, that's all I ask. It's not too much. I don't think it is. Who is this lolly sitting on you? He's completely confused. But she's a special spirit. We have to keep her in the presence because we have this contract with I love Garf being in the background. You got a fucking problem with the boss. Look, you have Mimi for protection. We have our boys backing up. We're good, all right? Just let it be. Who cares? This is our camp too. Let everybody in on exactly what's going on. The mere age of 22. Yeah. Suck his dick even more. Weirdo. Fucking weirdo Joshua. Basically, though, this all comes down to Mimi starts to grow her attachment towards Garf, and overall, Anastasia asks us to come to Pristella. And that's basically the setup for where we're end up going. Watergate City. Yeah, it's pretty sick. We explain stuff a lot, and there's also a magic crystal in which we desire, which may give us the ability, I'm assuming, to harbor Puck. Is that all it really is for? Unless I'm misunderstanding that, but I believe that's all she's probably trying to look for. I don't know why we need necessarily an entire different one. Like I get that ours was cracked, but do we not have ability to like gain or find another one that can? Also, where is Puck? Also, do we have the ability to possibly do that? Also, is she just utilizing one in hopes that it'll like lead us in some sort of way to find Puck? Like, what is the full reasons behind this, and I completely stupid? Let me know. Some facial expressions really good this episode. This is a really good one by Subaru here. Garf had a really good one when his mom showed up. We had a really good one too of Anastasia when she was looking on when Heineko shows up, and I think that's pretty cool too. Still in fear, it seems like, almost after not being able to get it. We learned a little bit about the city overall and the excitements of us going there. Subaru thinks it sounds like a prison, and we're keeping everyone in and trapping though. I mean, I guess in certain ways, but I don't know. I think it just looks cool. It's like a luxurious spot almost, you know? And they're just very high up on their security, which we end up learning once we end up getting there. What was the change in colors here? Did they say something and I missed it? No, it just changed. Was it like opening of the door that he was like in, like you can cross into it and he like uses his protection or something? He can't get there. I don't know. Basically Rosewall is like, yeah, I'm gonna chill here with Frederica and with Petra and with Ram. So don't really stress about it. So we're all good there. We're just gonna do that and you guys go and do your thing. So he seemingly is on our side. He's not gonna do anything bad, but at the same time, he's not gonna help us, and he's just gonna put full reliance and faith in Subaru and everybody else in the party. That kind of seems like all he's really up to, which is weird, and I really want to see him more. I'm praying that he just randomly shows up within this arc, but I find that hard to believe. But I don't know, because after such a big moment and turning point for him last episode, it would be so fun to be able to use him as well, like involved here. So missing out on that definitely sucks. Otto is going through it right now. This brother is drinking every night. We need some help for him. His hesitation to almost go in here. Is there even a purpose of knocking on the door, still doing the polite stuff? little blue tint that we almost get to this entire thing, giving hints towards us entering in, talking to Rem. I think it's really sweet that he just talks to her. It's really sad too. It's like when you go to like a grave or something, right? You just like yap out loud about like all the good things that like have been going on, or even all the bad things, and how you just kind of feel in general. It's like you're talking to the void, but at the same time you have this picture in mind of like who you're talking to, and you just kind of replace what that tombstone almost is with like that object of the person, like almost using that as like the representation of them, so it doesn't feel like it's as like one-sided and you're talking to absolutely nothing. And here we get something similar, even though it's like this empty shell of a person, we still get to have that little moment, which I think is really cute. Garth being as fast as this shit is hilarious to me. I love the little breakdown from Otto of learning about what everybody is kind of up to, and how things have changed, how all the good stuff from the first season has kind of, even though season 2 was great for bringing us all together, right, and allowing all the characters to now have like a strong stance of like where they are and what they're going to do moving forward, but it didn't necessarily do anything to move the needle more for Camp Amelia going into the future. Well, it does, because it like sets it up, but in the public's eyes they're not aware of that. So from season 1, all the good things that we did, which we never really heard about the impacts and the way that affected everybody else involved, we then get to fully see that like come to life here, which I think is really sick. And I actually really enjoy that a lot, because we ended up getting to learn about all the positives that came out of that for us. Word spreading, people learning about all the positive things that we've done, about the people that we've killed, the things that we've set up, and the work that we've done in association with others as well. So of course the name of Subaru is spreading widely too, and the understanding of that being a part of Amelia's camp and everything too. It's a really big deal for us in the overall candidacy and us going forward into the story. So huge, actually. But at the same exact time, the exact same thing happened with everybody else for the most part. Krush, not, because you know she has no memories and stuff, so she's losing stuff almost. She's at like the decline, but I'd argue that's because she was so far ahead we had to do something to nerf her and make the race a little bit more even. Anastasia stays relatively the same, doesn't really move up or anything. Well, she is moving up, actually. I think they did say, I believe they say that, but yeah, she's moving up, and still just like at a good pace, whereas all the other candidates are now making strides here and moving a little bit forward. Even Felt, somebody who you didn't think would, is gathering all of the people from the slums, gathering all of these hard workers and the people. She's catering towards the working class. You know? She's doing her thing, and I respect that, her bringing them together. And they easily have the most diverse group of people. Like, this is literally every race and being that you could possibly be. I mean, you even have nobles and stuff like fucking Reinhardt in the background, right? Like, this is a very big thing, which makes her seemingly be like the most interesting candidate for that reason. But I think it's cool how they all are building up such a strong pairing for what they're actually doing. Otto talks about the fear that he has as we come here. You know, you don't want to get indebted to Anastasia. This is somebody who's like a fucking nightmare to get out of. This is a financial mogul right here. We got to be cautious when we get around here. So of course, any negotiation and thing that may occur of us getting a private invite here is going to be something to worry him, hence his heavy drinking and his concerns of that happening. We do find out that's not necessarily the case as we bring everybody else here, but Otto is good for negotiations of things for Amelia's sake. Anyways, also when we end up getting the stone and stuff, them taking over the cart, or having Betty take over the cars and Subaru go in the back's funny. And we enter the city. Lart's a security. He's a little cautious about it, but it's fucking beautiful. And the moment you walk in, you don't think about it for a single second. It's absolutely sick. I love the city so much. I think it looks so fucking cool. We learn a lot about it, the way that things work, the way that the water can work on each of the opposite sides. We talked about it before we even went in, and they discussed exactly how, you know, they keep things out and they keep it from flooding and all this other stuff. They also have fucking dragons that are like water dragons, though they call them. Yeah, the dragon drawn boats. These things are so cool, and the dragons just talking to each other. It's really funny. And what do you know? We have an entire town essentially inspired by Japanese style things. Funny how that works. Anastasia has probably like my favorite new character design. I don't know. I just think it really looks good. in comparison to her old one. Not that her old one looked bad, but I don't know. I think this just like really suits her and looks extremely good. So I'm definitely on team for that. Julius is interesting too. He looks way more soft now. You know, he's got like the little lashes and everything going for him. He looks cute now. He doesn't look as weird. Before his eyes were like weirdly slanted up, and like, I mean, they still are here, but like they were like more thin and everything. And he looked kind of mean and funny. Here he looks pretty cute, which is I like. Nice little conversation. He still has some problems with Subaru, and this is a cute little joke of setting it up and Otto thinking like, oh, he's heard about my good deeds and the things that I've done, but in reality it's just the sense and understanding of this high-ranking spirit that's in front of you. Betty's cute as ever, using this as an excuse to gain some extra food and drinks and stuff. Mimi gets so happy when Garf shows up, and of course they go to hang out for the entirety of the day. Yeah, we might as well have this little discussion. How is everything just like this? Straight fucking Japanese style. That's kind of crazy. We learn a little bit about this, the Hoshin of the Wilderness. So the person who has essentially established this for her family, the company, and all that stuff involved, is likely, according to Subaru at least, likely from our Earth, from Japan itself, and is also somebody who got teleported or reincarnated or something, just in general, which is fun because there is full confirmation at that point. I mean, not necessarily, but for the most part, at least from suspicion and stuff, that we have other people from this world. I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the stuff I talked about before the episode started, with potential cut content and stuff that I probably should go read about Al, I believe he is also in this similar situation, but in Subaru, I'm pretty sure is aware of that. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my understanding of that's wrong. But I'm almost positive that's the case. Like I'm almost positive I've read that before, that somebody, or I've read people talking about that before. If it's not, then I apologize, but I could have sworn that to be the case. So he gets a little bit wondering about that's that type of person. So there definitely are others likely from this world, or not from this world, that have found their way over here. How exactly did they come here? Did they also have something in regards to, say, Witch of Envy? This was 400 years ago. Witches were still around. Was this roughly like the same sort of thing? Was it one of the other ones? Did they all have the ability to kind of bring somebody in? Well, wouldn't it be hilarious if there's a situation where there's like, there's, what is there, 7 witches, and each of them have like this one power to bring in one person at one random time, and that person is like their savior essentially, and that's like this weird obsession and everything that Satella essentially has, and her reason for bringing Subaru in. That's essentially the choice and pick that she kind of made, which then is like, if Al is one, then that makes him one as well. And then this other guy who they're claiming is like dead and gone, maybe he just like disappeared or like hit off or like did something, and it's like they're setting some bullshit up, and we're gonna have like a battle of the death with all of them at some point. I think it would be funny. We have to go to the Muse company though if we want to end up finding out about this. This is the information that we ended up coming here, and we're looking for the Songstress Maniac, which makes plenty of sense exactly once you learn about him a little bit more. I think it's really cool having this tower and everything, especially when we learn about the announcements and stuff that they can make utilizing them. Cute moments between everybody and jokes and stuff here. Fun stuff as well of isolating us and Betty. Holding hands, relying on each other, and we continue to move forward. Central Park. This place looks pretty fun. And we end up finding Liliana, who is a little singer, who Subaru unfortunately disrupts it based on her singing. So this is all stuff that she like thinks of in the exact moment, and she just decides to say fuck it and write a song about it. And that's like essentially her given power. Now she is extremely interesting because she is displayed as somebody who just messes around, and she's very like nothing too crazy, but there's something special about her, 1,000,000%. And that special thing, I don't know. My assumption on what that special thing is she has the ability to do something regarding like hearing, would be my guess. She randomly can pick up on and gain these stories based on these, or gain these songs based on these stories and stuff that she's heard. But like we later get a song where she's talking about things with the relation between like Reinhard and Wilhelm and stuff. So it's like, where did she hear that? Because that wasn't told to her. It was told in a conversation between Subaru and Wilhelm, you know? So like, where did a lot of this stuff come from? Does she have the ability to like tap into and like read into people's minds? Does she have the ability to like just overhear like stories and stuff? Like, does she have hearing abilities that lets her like pick up on this stuff, and that's why she constantly has a flood of information coming to her? Is none of this stuff even relevant, and I'm just yapping about some nonsense? I don't know, but I'm really intrigued as to if she's gonna have like any important like role when it comes to anything else. Because what other reason would we just introduce her as like a random character for us to have? And at multiple moments she's in it. It's not like she's just like one gag character where we had like one little skit with her and that's really it. And she's important enough to get a role that ends up becoming important when it comes to negotiating and stuff that we do. So I feel like there's a lot more that's going to come out of it with her. This is fun. She sings a fun little song. Subaru sings along with her. Somehow he knows exactly what they're going to say, which also might go to it. I was like, how the fuck does she know exactly what he's going to say? Or how does he know what she's going to say? Whatever it is. And maybe he's just making up his own thing and she's just singing along because she has the ability to tell what he's planning on saying or doing. They seem way too happy about this. Betty's like, what the fuck is going on here? Well, we overall figure out exactly who she is, and at the same time, she knows exactly who we are. She finds out a bunch of information about us. She treats us almost as though we are like a celebrity, which is growth. It gets us to see the importance and the things that Subaru has done over the years now, over his time since he's been in this world, allowing him to kind of live on and create this sort of legacy about him. The words and all the good deeds and all the things that he's kind of doing are getting out there. And this helps Camp Amelia a ton. At the same time, this helps him gain recognition and gain viability, I guess, almost when he goes into these new sorts of places, because he can gain sorts of connections and things that he does too. And people also trust him a lot more. It's a lot easier than having to be like, oh, Krush, I think the whale's coming at this time, by the way. You know, like, people will be like, you've been right about this stuff before. Like, we can just trust you with a bunch of shit going forward, which I think is fun. And she's really funny with the way that she gets so excited and displays this. We end up going in with this guy and we meet our boy. What was his name? I don't remember what his name was. I thought he was Russell at first. Remember Russell Fellow? I thought it was him. He kind of reminded me of him. I think it's because of like the brown hair. Kiritaka-san. So he is the crazy motherfucker that we're trying to buy this shit from, and he loses his mind and just blows this bitch up. Because you're touching his woman who he doesn't, or she doesn't even claim him or anything. Hilarious regardless. I thought that was great. And then we run into Regulus. What the fuck is this? So questions on end of, I guess, a lot of things. Amelia doesn't remember him. She recognizes the idea that she might, but at the same time doesn't know what's going on, and she doesn't recall that until the back end. Is this similar to Subaru went into his first trial in season 2, talked to Echidna, had his entire thing, was told he wouldn't remember her, came out and says, I feel like I was just talking to somebody, had a similar reaction when somebody mentioned the witch or mentioned her name, but didn't actually call the conversation or really her in general? Is this a similar thing that's happening with Amelia? Just based on her wording, I'm kind of getting that feeling of, we went through all the trials and Puck released all these holds on her memories and everything, and instead she now is like, has to forfeit all of that stuff even though she was able to get over it, and can't necessarily remember this? Or is it simply because a year has passed and she can't? But that feels wrong to me, because that was the most like traumatic thing that she had to relearn likely and go through, right? And he was involved firsthand in that, so the fact that you just like couldn't recall or remember that moment just feels off to me. So I'm trying to like almost convince myself it's the other way, but I for whatever reason just don't think that is, and I think that they're just trying to play into like, oh, it was so long and I just couldn't really recall or remember because I got so much other stuff on my mind and going on. But I feel like that's something that you would have triggered that response immediately and recalled that person. But maybe there's more to it. Second question really is, what the fuck is he doing here? Because as we later see with Sirius being here, why are they here? And as we know from trailers and everything building up to this, there's going to be 2 more that come in. So why is that the case? Like, what the fuck is happening here? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm cautious. I'm concerned. Because there's no reason he's just walking around while the other ones are here too, right? Like, what is their purpose? They're setting something up clearly, right? And all of that gets enacted come towards the back end of the episode. So he's probably set up and prepping for something. I don't know. I don't even have a guess as to what it is. Maybe it is her, you know, and it's just he's feeling things out and getting an idea of who she's with and who she's around and doesn't want to cause problems. I mean, he has mentioned before how he doesn't like to fight and he'd rather just talk things out. they could keep that. So I don't really know. I feel like I've met him somewhere. Oh, you have. And he puts a little smirk on his face. Everybody splits up, of course. We have to do that. We meet the guy from the beginning, which is fun. He works and falls under Felt, and it's great to actually bring him back. I wonder if the other two are going to be here. That would be really fun. And then Reinhardt decides to show up. What's up, buddy? It's been a bit. And he wants to hear some stuff. Garf immediately gets angry and wants to fucking fight and gets shut down completely. He bitches him completely, says, "You my son." Which is pretty sad, but can you call him out? We just want to talk. It's good to see you again. Yeah, I'd love to hear the tales about the whale. I gotta go do some stuff with Felt. And this is the boy, by the way. We work together. Why the fuck was Garf so angry? So this is interesting, and I think it's good. Garf gets mad because he loses, right? And he clearly realizes he's not the strongest, and there's somebody out there who is way stronger than him. Fair. And then he ends up utilizing that to his advantage. He goes out when he gets angry. And I assumed it was just because he was like stressed and he like just wanted to get out of there, like he was mad, which is actually 100% the case. But he recognizes the fact that he needs to work hard to be able to get stronger, because clearly there are people out there who are way stronger than him, which I think is a good thing. He doesn't immediately fold and come to the point of view where he's like, I'm not as strong as this guy, so there's no point of me continuing to try because I'll never get to that level. And instead he just realizes he needs to become stronger, and he wants to, which is strong, because that's a bad thing that happens with a lot of people, where they just get discouraged entirely by those things. Reunion with a bunch of people, which is really fun. We end up having Reinhardt and Wilhelm meet, which is not always the greatest thing at all. I didn't know they were family. I mean, they have the same fucking name and the same, like, well, he doesn't have the same hair color, but I always assumed that was his grandson. I always assumed because his wife literally had, like, they had the same hair color. And he was married to her. I'd assume, you know, he probably had a kid, and then his kid probably had a kid. That was always my assumption of what happened. The only thing, actually, I'll talk about that when we get to it. I'll make note of it. I didn't invite the ones who didn't listen because I had nothing for them, so I didn't want her to come. This shit's hilarious to me. But it's really smart and it makes sense. Why is Crush here? Well, that's because we heard about gluttony, and Subaru gets fucking mad because he's like, well, why the fuck was I not invited for these purposes? Actually, he was, but he gets really angry that he wasn't like told or informed about any of this stuff early. Crush would like to know about this a lot more, and I hate how you're utilizing this to your advantage. Also, to be fair, none of them know that he was directly impacted with the loss of Rem or anything outside of Crush and outside of Fellas, so like, he can't get too mad. I mean, I guess he could have expected them to bring it up, but she probably assumes that her living and dealing with it is probably taking such a toll on her, and she's only focused really on that. I don't like Crush too much like this. I really want her old version back, but I guess we'll have to see what they decide to go with on that. Felt stumps, and I really like her little outfit that she goes out and gets, and we set up a lot of fun stuff between her and Reinhardt and their relationships, which I think are great, and it's extremely fun to see that. They're a great match. We learn about all the fun things that are here. Garf is angry and he wants to go out. Betty's sneaking around and wearing this. Absolutely adorable. She's so cute. And she's just trying to get the attention and praise. I love it. Everybody else shows up. They all look good in this. There's no issue between the two. This outfit suits you really well. I think it fucking treats everyone well. It always looks good. You guys don't have any pure motives. Literally none of the groups do. Actually, except this one. But actually, there's a one-sided thing again there. So none of the groups are kind of in the, I guess Priscilla would probably be the only one, right? Because I don't think, I mean, we don't know enough about Al, but I'm assuming it's not. I don't know. Anyways, this is really fun. I love the sudden like tone change. The coloring on this is really fucking cool. I think it looks really great. The only thing is, for whatever reason, it just looks like he's like looking at a big painting to me that has like some crazy lighting on it. But I really do like this scene of having Elsa. I got confused at first. I was like, how the fuck is she still alive? And then I was like, oh, is he like seeing her and he's having like he has like his interior thing where he like almost she possessed him, or he took her like soul into him somehow, and that's something. But I think realistically it's just he's having these nightmares and these thoughts of seeing her constantly. Like this thing is haunting him. It's the first person that he really went out of his way and killed, and even when that was the case, it keeps telling him in his head, because he knows that other people are stronger than him, that he's just got lucky in a lot of these situations, and that it actually has nothing to do with his strength and the thing that he's convinced himself of all this time. So this is essentially just going to continue to haunt him until he can learn to either accept and continue onwards and get past the fun stuff with him and Mimi again together. You look a lot cooler when you're laughing like a dummy, which is true. When he's just messing around and having fun, it's really fun to watch him on screen. But when he's not, and he's just taking things serious, he's not as fun. You know, we want to keep him cool. So keep working hard for it. The boat loosens up. We save the children, and look at that. You look fucking cool. Oh, well, you look at that. One of them looks just like you. Wow, that's kind of weird. Interesting. Fancy dinner, fancy eats. Subaru is thrilled by this. This is exactly what he wants, what he's been missing out on and looking forward to. We got to bring you home. Oh, yeah, I got a sister. She's going to get mad at me. And then, oh, shit, the sister shows up. She looks kind of familiar, too. And then, oh, shit, look who shows up. Really good face like on Garth when he like recognizes it like this. Really fucking quality. So this scene spoiled because of the trailer. I don't know why they included that. It makes no sense to me. Really interesting though. So his mom is alive. Unless this is just a person who's a lookalike and it's just making him all fucked up because of it. But I don't think so. I think she's alive. And she continued onwards, and she had a family with somebody else probably. And she continued her life and just left her kids and forgot about them. The person, like, it took him so long to get over the fact that he lost her and that her life was lost. And it took him so long to accept the fact that she tried to do something. And he accepted it under the terms that she went out of her way and she was looking for a better life essentially for them. And she was looking out for them. So then to come back and realize that she didn't actually die and she's not looking out for them, and she's just kind of abandoning you and looking out for herself potentially, is really fucking awful. Like a terrible thing for you to look into. Playing more into family dynamics again. Another mention of that, I guess. But kind of crazy. I don't have too much more to read on this, but that easily, I mean, we find out he leaves for the night. Nobody sees him. Him and Mimi are gone the entire time. And then now things are getting immediately bad with Sirius coming in. Are we going to even have time to like kind of talk to him and discuss everything that occurred and discuss his feelings and have him go through that? Or is he going to have to go into battle completely in anger? How is he going to be able to manage his emotions and control that, being completely overwhelmed by this and the thing of Elsa and the killing that has haunted him? That's a lot to take on. So I'm a little cautious for what's going to happen with Garth. Hopefully all goes well for him, and hopefully we can work it out. And hopefully his newfound relationship with Mimi here is a good thing, and we can move that in a positive direction. But a little, I don't know. We got a lot of Betty this episode. She's so funny and cute and every one of them, so I'm thrilled by it. Great conversation with Wilhelm. Yeah, you look perfect in the fucking Japanese style setting. Save that for a woman. Expand a little bit on his background and the stuff regarding him and his wife and what he's still doing and what he actually did. His entire life and everything since her passing has been dedicated. The sword and all that was dedicated directly to her. Now her passing has come and he dedicated everything in the rest of his will and drive that he has, the things that fueled him, that filled him up as a person and let him be a person, gone, right? He succeeded in what he does. He's free now. What does he do? This is a really bad comparison, but it's similar to what happens when people are like retiring and you work your entire life towards something, and then the moment that you're done, you're just like, what the fuck do I do now? And you're just bored as hell, and you either go back to it or you find something else to do. It's a similar scenario where he literally has nothing to do. Like he doesn't know what to do with himself and where he should direct his life, because all of his anger and energy and everything was directed towards one person in one scenario, and now all that gets stripped away and taken because all of it did, and then he fueled himself with revenge, and then now that that was taken away, what does he have remaining for him? Well, the answer to that is you have your family and you have your grandson and maybe even your son, depending on how things go, and you have to kind of bring that relationship back together and possibly work towards and take that step in doing so. But he's struggling completely, which I love to see from a older person perspective, of the idea that he, even at his age, doesn't have everything all figured out. As somebody who's been as wise and helpful towards Subaru and others throughout this, he still doesn't have things things figured out, and like he's got some skeletons in the closet too. He's a little cautious about the way that he should be approaching things, and if he's even worthy of moving forward and doing that, and what's even next for him, and what's like his own purpose and being even here. And I think that's really fucking cool. 3 excuses in my life, or 3 regrets. So one of those is the cause of the rift between me and my grandson, which we expand on a little bit later when we talk about him killing or Reinhard killing the previous master swordsman, which I'm still uncertain exactly who it is. But he basically talks about the things he says was like over the edge completely and tore them apart. And even from that young age has never been able to kind of associate in any sort of way with Reinhard, which has made their relation and everything really, really weird. And every time he approaches him, he feels weird. He's really ashamed. He's very nervous. He struggles to do anything. He doesn't know how to bring up that topic or how to move past that or get closer to him in any sort of way. And Subaru does a good job at utilizing the information we received earlier about the idea that he wants to hear more about the whale, and really putting that into context of being like, there's a reason he probably wants to learn that, not just for the fact that it's the story that I want to tell, but because he wants to understand maybe why you said what you said to him at that time that caused this rift to actually happen, or maybe why you went out of your way when we realized later that you were gone because you were looking for somebody who was kidnapped. Like, why weren't you there by her side under the assumption that his wife was the one who was killed and they're putting blame entirely on Reinhard for it? Why that was the case. So it's really interesting, especially coming from Subaru and being able to put all of that together and now display all of that directly to Wilhelm and make him be like, oh fuck, like maybe I'm the one who needs to go out of my way and directly tell him, and we can have this conversation and he can learn about so much, and it gives him that in and that window to actually speak on the thing that he needs to, which I think is cool. Daytime comes around, we do our exercises and everything, of course, some fun. Otto's hungover, fucking clown. I do not want Reinhard with me. If I say anything, he's here. And the moment she says his name, even not in that context, he just immediately appears. This motherfucker just teleporting around and everything. Their relationship is fucking great. Anastasia looks great in this. Of course, she pulls this out as his ace up my sleeve. Haven't seen Ricardo once. Where the fuck is Ricardo been? I really want to see him. The siblings got thrown into a complete panic here over the fact that Mimi never returned, and neither did Garf, and now they have to go out of their way and they have to look for it. There's a letter. We need to know what is in this letter. Please, Anastasia, explain to us what is going on, what is happening. And they don't even do that. They just skip it and we just have a breakfast. Which gets completely interrupted, and then we still never actually learn all the things that we need to. So what is in that letter? I don't know. This is fun seeing everybody's different styles. Reinhard being so excellent and able to conquer and do everything and just feeding Fel. Wilhelm struggling and burning it. Amelia undercooking it. The extra sauce and everything put on by Betty. Like, everybody learning this for the first time is really cute and very fun. And then we get the broadcast, which is really sick. This city is more technologically advanced than the other, like, cities and stuff that we've come into so far, which is awesome, and I love to see that. And it's just fun having this general announcement over it. I'm assuming if they don't utilize this as some sort of way for Subaru to give like a like announcement to the people to let them know there's a fucking war. It doesn't even have to be Subaru, it could just be anybody. But like, if they don't utilize this to let them know, like, get the fuck out the town, we're going to war, is I think hilarious. Or if they don't, they got to utilize it to their advantage somehow, and maybe it's like saying that something's happening when it's like not, or like just trying to play like some sort of trick. I don't know, but I feel like we got to use it more because it's really just cool. And then all of a sudden they decide, here's my next song, the Sword Demon's Love Song Act 2. Fucking stupid. And everybody's like, holy shit. They don't give us lyrics for it, and I'm assuming that's intentional, but at the same time, like, anybody who knows Japanese could probably just decipher it for us. So I wonder what exactly was said and why they didn't give us lyrics for this, because they gave it to us for her other song. So it feels a little weird, because I would love to know more about their relationship and whatever she ended up finding out to put into song there. It's a great big step from Wilhelm to even reach forward and ask for help from Reinhard, which I think is excellent, and things are fucking finally going on the right path. And then look who decides to fucking show up, dude. Unbelievable. So this conversation's weird. I might have to go slower on this to see if I can wrap my head around it. Where my current standing is, and I'll see if I'll pick up anything as we go here further, is we have Heikel, who is a vice captain to whatever the fuck he's vice captain to. So meaning he's below somebody, and I don't even know who that person he's below is. He's a part of the family, Wilhelm's son, Reinhard's dad, and he's kind of in the middle. He's kind of just like this drunk who throws things into chaos, but he is pretty strong for what he does in general, but he doesn't fulfill the same role maybe as Reinhard or the others actually do, and he has a bad relationship with everybody else involved. He spills the tea a little bit later that there's some shit going on, and Wilhelm said some nasty shit to Reinhard after the fact that Reinhard apparently killed the previous Master Swordsman, which to my assumption into it in this direction would be Theresia, and that would make sense. But I don't know how he technically did, because the assumption is always that it's been eaten up by the whale. And that's what everybody's always said. And we haven't had a reason to kind of dispute that yet. So saying that he's the one who did it, was it simply he just put her in a position that caused it to happen? Was it he was too young and he was afraid to work and to do this? Like, was he in this battle at that young age? I would fucking pray not. But maybe he was. What happened that he put her in the position for this to happen? Was he the one who encountered the whale and then she kind of went out of her way for it? Like, what? I don't know. I can't think of anything necessarily that would be the direct cause of that and then would cause Wilhelm to say something to like kind of piss him off. At first I was thinking maybe it's just a situation where like he was like, why did you kill my fucking grandma or something like that, and Wilhelm like lashed out on him, or like, why weren't you there for her or something, and he just like lashed out on it. But like that doesn't seemingly seem to be the case, because like I don't, how would he have killed her then, right? So I don't know what exactly is the reason here, and why does he want to bring that up to steer shit up and make things even more fucking weird. I don't know. Vice captain in name only, so he doesn't actively like do what he's supposed to probably do or live up to that name, but he's just kind of given the name. Hated vice captain of the Royal Guard. Good for nothing, Heikel. He's so self-aware. He knows exactly what he's doing. Do not let him provoke you. Want to just celebrate the white whale's death. You hear that? I'm aware of what happened. Reinhard, same goes for you. My old man here took a huge weight off your shoulders, didn't he? He avenged the previous Master Swordsman after you killed her. So we do say her. So it's definitely okay. So I don't know how he ties in. So he takes the weight off his shoulder, and his reference towards that is directly meaning Reinhard felt that he had to work up and get stronger, probably to avenge her for whatever happened, and to get this off his shoulders and act like, you know, the thing that he possibly put her in position of and got her killed ends up being dead, and he's able to kind of avenge her as a result of that. But instead, Wilhelm went out of his way and he did it for you. And then once again, you did nothing. So you killed her, and then you put your battles onto somebody else, and he seemingly keeps trying to put him down. I don't know why he, like, what his relationship is with his son that he keeps trying to do that to him for. Wilhelm seems to have a problem with that and doesn't want him to push this any further, although he was the one who said some shit. Yeah, don't bother with it now. You of all people are in no position to criticize me, as you're the first one to rebuke Reinhard for killing the previous Master Swordsman. So that scenario that they had okay. Huh. There's more here that'll get unraveled as we go along, but rather interesting. Wilhelm's sick, like I don't know how to word this. Wilhelm's really cool, right? And even in the fight against the whale, he looked sick. But from the small, like, little glimpses of what Theresia was doing, she seems way more like skilled and able. And even though she ended up losing like the little battle to him, I don't know. I feel like I just have so much confidence in her that like something about this just feels wrong. Like it's a misunderstanding in some sort of way. Like almost on the idea that like the whale didn't kill her, because I remember that was the initial feeling, was like, in Wilhelm even said it, is like, how the fuck did this thing kill her, right? Like that definitely wouldn't have happened. She definitely wouldn't have died to this. So it's like, I don't know. I guess the only assumption I can make is Reinhard was out there for some reason when he came, and it was like a similar scenario maybe to when Wilhelm was getting like scooped up by it, and he had like the little flower and everything in front of him. But it was like something where Reinhard was in there as like a child basically, and she went out of her way and she got in the way to like kind of swoop in and save him, and then she got eaten by the fucking thing. So it wasn't even like through her own loss of like ability, but it was in protection of him. And then he just got chewed out for like being there by Wilhelm, and as a result like ends up having to live with this for the rest of his life, showing that there is a lot more like hidden things than the way that Reinhard kind of presents himself as like fucking perfect. So but that just feels like kind of weak almost. So I don't really know. No silence when convenient timing disappears. You're never gonna reconcile that way. Basically you have to have that conversation, and you know that she won't let that down. Don't you add the Van Astria. I'm just Astria. Why is what does the van indicate? I've never actually known that. Like, what is the importance of that? Is it title of swords master? Is that all it is? I don't know. That'd be my assumption. Yeah, I never received that title, so I'm assuming van is if you get titled as in like a role kind of like that, and for whatever reason he never lived up to it. But also, like, in what reason did Reinhard succeed him, especially at like a young age that he probably was at? So how the fuck did that come about? Like, how was he that strong? And also, did he dedicate like the remaining years after the fact that she was killed to getting stronger strictly so he could go out of his way to kill the whale or avenge her in some sort of way? Did he do that as well? Felt picking him apart, Amelia standing up against him, like all of them coming together like this, I think is fucking excellent. I love that so much. You all should leave that. And she looks around. Took you long enough, Lady Priscilla, and look who decided to show the fuck up to cause some chaos. You're the one who brought him here. My boy Al, good to see ya. Yeah, this is the guy who licked your foot, don't you remember? Family relations in this bore, clumsily trying to bring them together. Can't let such an unsightly performance play out. So as a result of essentially stopping that and pushing forward, we're going to introduce some chaos to kind of come into play. We rewrote the script and we made it entertaining. Subaru's outbursts and everybody else, utilizing that, he talks about it in his conversation with Julius, but using that as like a settle the fuck down type of thing. Everybody else who was angry in this moment and stood up directly to him is able to realize this other person is getting overworked by it, and realizing that they don't want to be overtopping what that person's doing, and calm him down in the process too. And also just knowing that you do have like these supporting hands around you, and you don't have to put on like these theatrics to really get your point across or anything. And there are strong people who are capable of questioning and putting people in their place when it comes to it here, and kind of assuring him of that, I think is really awesome. Little girl from the slums thinks that I have anything to do. Yeah, it concerns me. This motherfucker's literally part of my family, and the estate isn't actually going to him because he holds the title for some reason. So what? So Teresa had it, and it doesn't directly go to Wilhelm. It goes bloodline, I'm assuming. Like, it stays directly on that, so it has to fall to the son. Although Wilhelm's technically father, so like, but I guess it doesn't transfer that way. It goes just down the ladder, and until he ends up passing away, until Heikel passes away, then Reinhard will never actually get his hands on anything. And he has no intentions of kind of giving those things up, despite the fact that he has no title or anything, and he has such a poor relationship, essentially, when it ends up coming to him. I like how he looks down for a second, and she corrects him by pointing this at them. She's like, stand the fuck up, dude. Like, just be proud of this. Like, you're good, dude. The Astor family belongs to me, and it is not going back to you. The one backing me now, I'm assuming Priscilla, right? Unless it's somebody else that he was trying to indicate, and she gets mad. Don't you dare try and fucking do that. She somehow summons the fucking Yang sword out of nowhere. This shit is baller. Pulls that bitch the fucking... I hope she uses that at some point. Maybe not on him, but I hope she uses that. And then this motherfucker shows up. Who the hell? What was his name again? Schultz? The hell is his purpose? She's such a like interesting character to me. I said it at the beginning too when I was talking about each of them and like the things we kind of know about them. And I was like, I don't think we really know anything about her, and I really want to know. I'm really interested. I want to know so much about her. You gonna run us out? Yeah, you're gonna cry about it? Nah, there's no fucking way I'd do that. That's the last one who would ever do that. We'll dedicate our lives to making sure that he gives that shit up. You guys are minor characters in my play here. Priscilla's so interesting. We have a conversation with Julius here, which I think is really, really excellent about the position that he upholds and the difficulty that Subaru has to almost comprehend the idea that you are acting out in a certain way as opposed to letting your real emotions and any of that stuff shine. But at the same time, there's reason for it, right? If we make a enemy of the head of household here, right? Especially in Reinhard's even position, even if he is a part of family, but everybody else involved here too. If we make an issue, especially at the head of this household, the entire kingdom, somebody who is the vice captain here is going to be against you and out for you. That's going to look bad for candidacy. That's going to look bad for just you and your life and everything else in general with it. We have to uphold a certain sort of level, which is what Julius ends up seeing here, where it's like, I can't cross the line or do anything too crazy, especially in the presence of somebody who actually is like that. Remember, the royal family was kidnapped and Wilhelm was the royal guard at the time. So he went out for searching, and at the time the white whale appeared, he ended up dying to it, and he missed her death. And that grudge is held ever since. You don't have to obsess over being perfect. And that's where Subaru puts in some really good lines, I think, overall to him and letting him know, right? It's like, sometimes it's even like in my position, right? There's Grizz, who I'm portraying essentially as being on here, and then there's me not on camera, right? I'm not the most extreme example of it because I'm relatively basically the same on and off, like regardless, right? But for the most part, there still is the real you, the hidden you, the version that's like there when you're alone, nobody's looking at you, you're in your room alone behind closed doors, like who that version is when he's not surrounded by anybody versus the version that's presented to others, right? And it's the same situation here with Julius, where it's almost like I have the knight Julius, I have the one who has to uphold his status, who has to obey the rules and play by the book. But at the same exact time here, there's Julie, right? There's the version of me who can let that be down, let the guard down, the version who isn't on duty that day, the version who can look the other way when it comes to things and help those who are important to him, the version who can see life for the first time really through a clear lens without having to hyper focus on like all these other things and exterior things. And Subaru's like, that doesn't really make any sense to me, but it perfectly does, right? The sky back then looked completely different. Like everything felt and appears different to me, which I think is awesome. What are you guys talking about? Being friendly? Where you're gonna hang out? Emilio's so cute. Absolutely not. Liliana having another song, Priscilla dancing. Once again, she's just interesting, and her way of viewing things is so intriguing. This performance was so good that it brought that out of me. You're just a fangirl? You want to become my servant? And she's like, absolutely not. She must decline, and it's due to her way that her family is kind of about, right? Generation after generation has passed along exactly what we do, and I'm going to continue to follow in those steps, and I can't kind of let that go away at any given point. Just as you can't imprison the wind, there's nobody who can stop our singing, which is really good. And at this point, me as well as all the others thought that Priscilla was going to be fucking pissed about this, and she's cool with it, right? She finds herself in a position where she is perfectly fine accepting this reality, accepting the idea that she doesn't want to do this, because at the end of the day, she views everything in the world to be hers anyway. So whether that stuff is kept directly by her side or at a distance, it's always something spectacular for her to have the ability to go out of her way and see. And maybe that's kind of why she is, right? The way that she is talking about things being just boorish and everything, right? Like, we're going to go out of our way and we're going to spice things up no matter what we do to keep this as entertaining and interesting a world to fulfill me as possible, which is a insanely weird, like, a stance to take on everything, but fucking hilarious because she's so interesting about that. Doesn't matter where, you can just sing all along. I'll perform a song to commemorate our friendship. Like how he doesn't answer. She repeats it and he's like, is this one of those cutscenes? And I have to agree, which is hilarious how that works too, because he's like, I have to wait and I have to agree to this. It's like he got it, and then it's like, well, you actually can't progress in the story past this point, so you have to do this so we can get to the next stage. Which is exactly what happens, because when he ends up dying by the back end, we come directly back here. So you can't progress past this point unless you do this and you agree to it, which is fucking hilarious. Also, it seemingly happens like right afterwards, so there might not be too much time to go. We meet this guy again, and we walk to the town together, where we get introduced to the Sin Archbishop representing the witch's cult, representing Wrath, Sirius Romani Conti. Fucking absurd. And I love how she takes on all of Buddy's mannerisms and everything. She's so cool. I love her. She's so fun. Her voice actress does a killer job, so expressive with everything that she does, pointing out to people, putting on these theatrics and stuff. And the entire time I'm sitting around wondering, like, why is everybody like comfortable with her and accepting of this girl who's wrapped up and clearly fucking insane? And then even at the point when she's like upholding and showcasing the child and everything and giving the entire example regarding that, and she's just sitting there and they're all just okay with it, and it's because of what we end up getting revealed a little later. She says some interesting stuff, but for the most part it's not anything I want to really dive too far into. But she proposes her scenario, exactly what she did, why all of these people are in this situation are plenty okay with it. And what she's doing. I'm assuming they were taken over already by this point, but it's not visually showcased to us to keep it hidden for a little bit until we get to the point that he ultimately just drops it and gets completely taken over. That'd be my guess, but I could be wrong on that. But yeah, completely possessed entirely here, right? Just brainwashed and hypnotized into looking onwards here and being on the same page and okay with her. Absolutely absurd. Just to do this, everybody rooting her on, absolute fucking massacre. Like it's gross how she's able to do this, and she's able to get everybody in the area at the same exact time too. And I wonder if it's just, I wonder what exactly her prerequisites are, which are definitely all like explained and set up through the dialogue and the stuff she did, and whether it's getting them on the page of understanding her, or whether it's full observation of her understanding, or whether it's like her running her fingers across, like when she was pointing out people, what exactly it is that gets them under it and gets them like in that presence to kind of feel her. But like this scene, like bro, fucking crying over this as you're about to watch somebody just plummet and collapse to their fucking death. Right before he does too, the changes here going all black and the coloring and the way that it hits Subaru at the same time with the blood splattering on everyone's fucking insane. All the heads pop too at the same time, and we end up going right back, and here we go. She gets the exact line that we doubled for whatever reason, and he's like, what the fuck just happened to me? That's insane. It was sick. Episode was awesome. I'm fucking thrilled to be back after years on end. This is my favorite shit, and I'm so excited. If you couldn't tell by the amount of rambling I do about random nonsense and things that we've been getting so far up to this point, I'm so excited to be here weekly for the remaining of this season. Assuming we replay this, we venture further and figure out a little bit about Sirius herself. Maybe figure out that Regulus was dressed a little weird. Maybe can make some connections or ask about him or ask those around us. Actually, what we need to do is figure out what exactly was in that fucking letter that we were about to get by Anastasia, and the reason for why she brought us all here at the exact same time under the suspicion that somebody such as Lai was going to actually show up here. I got questions. I need to know things. So yeah, this is kind of a big deal, and I'm very excited, like extremely, to see where Subaru decides to head and where everybody else kind of does for the remainder of this. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you liked it all, like and subscribe to me. If you feel free to check out the videos and channel in the comments of this video series. I'll be back for episode 2 of ReZero Season 3. I hope you guys have a great one. Oh, also, I haven't said it anywhere. Yeah, I don't think, but we're going to be watching Blue Box and Dandanon, which both come out tomorrow. And those will be the only other ones that we do seasonally that will be on the channel right now. I think that's the only ones that are planned because I'm so far behind on a bunch of other shit still. So, but right now that's the plan, is going to be these 3 that we're going to run with, and hopefully we can catch up. Also, everybody else wondering, we're going to be getting back to Madoka, Lane, and Dragon Maid probably on Monday or Tuesday, like the 7th or 8th or 9th or something, like one of those days. I think they'll probably start going back up. So look out for that if you are excited. Yeah, you guys have a great one though. Peace.